You stopped doing let's call it reaction videos because you didn't want to be labeled as a reaction guy.
Yep.
Were you monetizing and making some money, and then you decided, hey, I'm gonna pull back?
I lost a lot. I mean, I was close to making 6 figures a year from YouTube. I'm a big hunter.
Nice.
You hunt?
I want to.
Come on, we'll go out this season.
I want
Get
to.
your licenses. We'll go out. My goal this year, I want to go black bear hunting and get a black bear.
Damn.
The guy's talking about guns, gangs, and dude.
That's good luck.
Yo, I just dumped ash in his whiskey.
Bro, that's like the biggest rookie move I've ever seen on this.
That's a first. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Burn Down podcast. We are in the studio again today. We have a new guest, Jacob Restituto. He's a farmer. Farm manager, I should say. Podcaster.
He's a farmer.
He's a freaking country boy.
He manages a farm.
Restituto Farms.
Grows a lot of things, so we've learned.
He's a podcast host of the New York Business Podcast.
Showed up with his own bottle of wine that he made.
He did. And we just found out he's also a musician by trade.
And we found out that he grows tobacco, too.
And that, too.
So,
what's up, Jacob? Welcome.
This man is a jack of all trades. He does a lot of things, an entrepreneurial jack of all trades here.
They call me the Jake of all trades.
The Jacob of all trades.
Let's roll this back. Let's start it. Well, thank you very much for joining us on the Burnout Pod. We have Jacob Restituto. They call him the Jake of all trades. Jacob, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure, guys. Like I was saying before we got rolling, man, whiskey, cigars, and talking to people, my favorite things. Like, I'm looking forward to this.
Well, I mean, that's what you do. I mean, you interview, it seems like, business owners in the New York State area, right?
For now, it's the goal. I named it New York's Business Podcast, just like it's like the New York Times, or New York Times doesn't just cover New York's.
You're
news,
you're in New York,
but I'm based out of New York. That's the financial capital of the world.
Yep. No, I like it. And when did you start that podcast?
This podcast, it's been a brainchild of mine for years. It's just something that I had one very long, kind of random episode back in 2019 that I never pursued any farther. So let me give it a little backstory on me.
Let's hear it.
This is the.
By the way, you got a great podcast voice, I will say.
You do
really?
You do you have a face for radio. Have I ever told you that?
A face for radio. Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
No.
I liked your compliment a lot better because this guy out here.
I know,
I'm
right?
just gonna start talking to you this podcast.
No. You have a good radio voice.
I'm surprised by that.
Yeah, you do.
Well, maybe it's the 8,000 YouTube videos that I posted. So.
Yeah, no,
Damn,
it's a good voice.
8,000. That's a lot of practice.
At least 7,500. Yeah.
Whew.
I have, I think, close to 1,100 daily vlogs.
Wow.
So let me give the backstory.
Yeah,
So
let's hear it.
backstory of me is I'm a musician by trade. I dropped out of college over a decade ago to do music full time. Dropping out of college was an incredible decision for me. It just wasn't the right decision for me to go to college. And my wife and I have been together at this point. We're coming on 15 years in October.
Wow.
Sorry,
Congratulations.
October. Yeah, we've been married for it'll be 7 years in. Hold on, let me get this right. It's been so long.
Important. We can edit. We're not live.
It's been so long that
we can dub your voiceover with the correct statistic.
It'll be 7 years in November married, and it'll be 15 years together.
In October.
In October. Yeah.
November what? Is your wedding day?
November 10th.
I was gonna say, come on, don't put him on a hot seat.
Well,
and then
on November 19th. That's why.
And then October November 10th, 2018, and is when we got married, and then October 1st, 2010 is when we started dating.
Wow.
So it's been a long, no breaks in that either. It's been straight.
See, that's good that you remember the day you started dating.
Come on, man.
Where did you guys meet?
Before the anniversary.
We met in school. So her friends were trying to hook me up with another one of her friend, and I was like, yeah, but who's the short one over there? And that's just kind of
she's all right, but who's that?
Yeah, that's kind of how it started, man.
That's awesome.
Eric, tell everybody how you met your wife.
We'll refrain from that. We won't make that a public.
That's an after.
That's an after podcast one.
That's great.
I got respect for my wife. All right, don't you forget it. I respect my wife. I respect women. Just kidding.
What do you mean, just kidding?
I mean, it's not that serious. Right? I'm not going off.
No, it was just a funny story. Kind of like we'll talk about.
Basically, I was in the gym and I said, "Who's that girl with that
beautiful body?"
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, put it that
Thank
way.
you.
Put it
Thank
that
you.
way.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
You can say it though, because she knows the story.
No,
You guys are married with a daughter, so it's like it's not like
my wife's got let's see, some very great assets, if you know what I mean. And I'm an asset guy myself. And I was in the gym in college one day, and my buddy Joe, I said, "Yo, who is that girl over there?" And he said, "Oh, that's Marissa so and so." I said, "All right, duly noted." I would just see her around campus, and a few weeks later, we're at the bar. And one thing led to another, and now we're married for almost coming up on 4 years,
yeah.
and one kid later.
Yeah,
we are here.
congratulations. That's great, man.
All because I love assets. You know, so it's great to have good assets.
But now you only have one really good asset.
Yes. Well, I have two. I got two good
It was
assets.
just a
now.
funny story because it's like,
No, it's a great story. I mean, I still tell it. I just wanted to make it a little more dramatic than what it really
Right,
actually
so
was.
let's go back.
Sorry,
to,
we digress.
That was my fault. Listen,
No, it's all good.
I'm
man.
usually the culprit of going off on tangents. Okay, so if sometimes he might be like, hey, I got to reel you back in. That's my
what
fault.
we do.
It's my fault.
Absolutely.
So been together for 7 years, married, 15 years together.
Yeah, so
Musician.
I was in college and started writing songs, and or had released my first song actually in college. I had written many songs beforehand, but released it, put it out there for the world, and I was like, this is what I want to do for my life. And one of the things that we knew we wanted to get married. We knew we wanted to get married after she got out of college, and I was like, I know I'm going to make no money from this, so let me start now. So I dropped out of college with the idea that I was going to start my business at 18, 19, and she still had 2 or 3 more years of college. She was a year older than I am.
Wow, that's pretty
What
forward
were you
thinking.
going to school for?
Music. I was
okay.
studying music, but it was like music. At that time, I was like, I wanted to write music for movies. Music for movies, and I
That's
enjoyed
pretty
it for
cool.
sure. Yeah, I wanted to be the next guy that like did all like I don't know if you know who Hans Zimmer
You
is.
wanted to be a Hans Zimmer.
Yeah,
I know
exactly.
exactly who Hans Zimmer is.
Who was like, oh, this guy's so
He's
cool.
made
man.
like all of the great scores.
anything, and
Never
everything
heard-
you could think
yeah,
of.
pretty much everything. Jurassic Park, wasn't that him?
Probably
Interstellar was him.
Damn.
like anything you could think of.
He
like
actually
huge.
made. He's got the song that he wrote for Interstellar.
Yeah.
This is again. I'll talk about anything. The song that he wrote for Interstellar called "Time" is.
What's it sound like? What's it go like?
I'll play it. You want me to play
Are
it?
you gonna get copyright striked on YouTube, man?
I could play. I could play up to like.
Don't worry, bro.
five
We just
seconds.
got freaking
I could play like 5 seconds. I think.
blocked from YouTube for monetizing. They just sent us an email this week.
Because
saying-
of tobacco.
They say we're promoting the sale of tobacco, which we're not, but
But you are. You have your own cigar.
we don't say buy our cigars, go to our
There you go.
website. We just smoke them.
so this
Go
is,
to our website, become a member.
Yeah.
You could fight that though.
No,
Yeah,
yeah,
you
we're going to
can.
appeal it. We're going to appeal
We're
it.
gonna peel it, and then we're gonna tag all the freaking videos of like
But
Cardi B shaking her ass,
get
talking
this.
about wet ass this, and
Yeah.
the guys talking about guns, gangs, and oh, you dude.
That's good luck.
Yo, I just dumped
That's
ash
good.
in his whiskey.
Bro, that's like the biggest rookie move I've ever seen on
that's
this.
a first.
Dude.
That's good luck.
Okay, so hold on a second. So we used to have
That is a first.
we used to have a rookie move
Let me
counter,
dump
which
this
is
out for him.
when you
Jeez.
drop ash on your and then use the paper towel here.
Yeah.
Clean that out. When you used to drop, we used to sit in those chairs, right? And used to lean back all the time, and you would drop ash on your lap, and we
Yeah.
called it a rookie move. And
That's my rookie move, man.
and we had a
I do that
counter.
all the time.
We would count. However, like we had a chalkboard, and every time it happened, I put the a tally up, and we'd keep track. And then since we came to this table, we kind of just fell away from.
You know
rookie
why
moves.
though? Like I refuse to. I'm not an ass shaker. Like
yeah, no, but
I
you
just
keep the ash and then it
you-
falls.
and it falls, and it always falls on me.
And we always say that rookie move is not necessarily a bad thing because it happens to the best of us. Like everybody at some point in time has rookie moved themselves.
Hey, I'm just grateful that I did that because now I get a refill, and like it's like it's never. I never even drank it.
But what's
is
crazy
my
is
first
so we
drink.
never we stopped counting it. We stopped counting it for like 'cause, we would just ash on the table like all right, you ash on the table, it's no big deal. But to go and ash, I saw it happen. It was boop right in his drink. Damn, man.
That was pretty-
Cheers. That was good luck though.
Yeah. So
Okay,
was my friend.
so anyway, so Hans, this is the song. You've probably heard it.
Well, what I was trying to say real quick before, but that appeal thing was the day I got that email
Oh,
on Monday.
Sorry, wrong. That was the wrong volume.
Oh, we got that email on Monday
It's good.
about this notification that we can't monetize anymore. The same day I'm on YouTube, there's an ad for nicotine. Literally, it's it says nicotine is harmful, blah blah. But I'm like, this is literally the sale of
Yeah.
tobacco.
It was promoting like a nicotine.
It was like
patch
like
or
a Zyn,
something.
like a Zyn thing.
All right, so here we go.
Jeez,
So this is it.
unbelievable. All right, fast forward it so we don't get copyrighted. Get to the good stuff. Tired of YouTube fucking dictating.
Oh,
all
this
our
was not.
shit.
This was not
Girl,
Interstellar.
it was my job for a while. I'll tell you.
Was
This
it?
not Interstellar. That was
Were you a fact checker on YouTube?
No, I had a YouTube channel.
Oh, you had. Okay, I thought you
And,
said. I thought you said.
so I was making money from YouTube. That's my full-time job.
Okay.
Oh,
so it
that's why you have
was-
8,000 videos.
Yeah.
All right.
So I'm sorry. It was not. It was not Time. That was for Inception.
That
he
was
did
Inception.
Inception.
I was gonna
too.
bring that up.
He
Yeah.
did Interstellar.
I think he also did like the Lion King though too. He
And
did
I think
everything
it was
you think
this
of.
one.
Damn, I love The Lion King. My daughter listens to The Lion King
How old
soundtrack
is
every
your
day.
daughter?
8 months. I wanna be.
She loves it.
Oh yeah, forget it. Hakuna Matata.
Dude,
Can't
my
wait.
daughter turns 2 in 3 weeks.
Which one was it?
That's big. Yours one daughter. You have one kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Was it this
it's
one?
the best.
When does this episode come out?
This will be out not this Friday, the following Friday actually.
Oh, cool. You guys
Yeah.
have like a nice turnaround time.
Yeah. We usually have a couple banked,
Uh,
and then we'll have them all edited up, and then we kind of just pick and
Understood this
choose which one we want to drop.
Interstellar
Unless it's a
theme.
unless it's a time sensitive one.
Right,
Justin's
this
still
is
looking
it.
here. What do we got?
All right, while this guy's still looking,
I know.
let me tell you an Ash story.
Yeah.
I heard this I don't know if you call it a rumor or whatever you call it, but
Yeah.
Winston Churchill used to stick a really long toothpick.
Yeah.
A classic smoker. Right, used to stick a toothpick in his thing so that his ash would be ridiculous and it'd
Yep.
make the person he's speaking to across the table feel incredibly unsettled.
Yeah.
So he was able to make all these incredible deals because the guy was just like so
Really?
uncomfortable that the ash was
The
like
ash was
6 inches
hanging.
long.
You never heard about that?
No, I
I'm
didn't
like,
know.
that is so gangsta.
I didn't know-
badass.
I
And
didn't
he
know
also
he did
smoked
it.
like 10 to
Oh, it
15
was
cigars a
unbelievable.
day.
You ever see the videos on YouTube about like trying to keep up with his lifestyle? How much he drank
Yeah.
and smoked?
Oh my gosh.
Unbelievable. He like 4 like glasses of champagne by like
And
7
he would
a.m.
go until like 4 o'clock in the morning, and then he would go to sleep and wake up at like 8 a.m. and do it all over again.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm not gonna have the rookie mistake, so I'm gonna.
All right, so
I'm
here's
on camera,
the
so-
song.
There you go. There you go. Nothing wrong with it.
You ever heard of this one?
No.
You never heard this one?
You got 2 seconds. Before you
And we're
count
banned.
Yeah. Great. Now I'm not
No.
making any money
So,
from you.
yeah.
You guys aren't making any money
So
from this
anyway, doesn't matter.
I never
He's
heard
heard
it.
it, but that's so you were going to be
video. Hans Zimmer.
a Hans Zimmer, the next Hans Zimmer.
Yes.
I wish it was a more popular song. I would have known, like Lion King.
Yeah.
He's done everything.
Literally
Don't worry about it.
everything.
We'll move on. We'll move on.
He's done
So-
everything.
I want to be Hans Zimmer, and I ended up releasing a song that I had written, and I just loved it. I just loved the adrenaline of recording it and releasing it, and the excitement behind it. And
I'm sorry, that's funny you say Lion King because he did Lion King.
that's what I told him.
That's
Yeah,
what he said.
Oh, okay, okay.
This guy's in his own world over here.
He did Lion King. He did Gladiator. He did The Dark Knight, Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, Dark Knight was a big one that he did
Okay.
too. With it, I think he
Pirates
won
of the
something with it.
Caribbean.
All right,
Dun,
now
dun,
I get-
dun,
okay,
dun,
now I
yeah,
get it. All
okay,
right.
so I'm sorry.
Back
I know. I
to
know.
Jacob.
Dude, I'm a problem.
So
problem.
Come over there and hit you.
I wanted to release music, so I was like, I want to play Madison Square Garden, doing all that stuff, and so I set off on my music career, started releasing music, and did it for about 5 years with nothing happening at all. Like it was just like I'd play like these local shows and stuff, and nothing was really happening. And then I was like, you know what?
Were you doing it by yourself?
Yeah, solo, all solo.
What were you playing?
Yeah, what were you playing? What instruments?
I played the guitar and I sing, and I had a loop pedal. It was around the time when like Ed Sheeran.
Oh, I was gonna say you're doing a
yeah,
little Ed
but
Sheeran.
it was like before he was even famous. So it was like he.
You know that he used to be terrible.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He was garbage.
Do you like ever hear of Tosh Sultana? Tosh
Mhm.
Sultana?
Yeah.
sick.
She's crazy with the guitar and like the loops
she's
and stuff.
nuts.
But so it was before all that stuff. Like I had known about Ed Sheeran, and like I was a big like Plus album fan of his. But like it was way like he was. I don't think he had even gone on tour with Taylor Swift as an opener yet. You know, so like it was way before he was super famous, and
Yeah.
like
because he does that. He does that.
he does that. But now you sound like an Ed Sheeran knockoff. If you say
Yeah,
it.
but
This is-
I mean, now he's doing these. You know, he's
Yeah.
got a band and everything, right? But I think that he's done
oh yeah,
on
he
his
did
shows.
huge
He still
Yeah,
does
loop- yeah.
loops and stuff.
But this was, you know, I don't want to sound like an Ed Sheeran knock. I mean, he was a huge inspiration. But
No,
if
but
you say
yeah.
it now, it's like, oh yeah, like another Ed Sheeran. It's like, you know,
well,
but
you say the same thing about the podcast. Like we had a podcast before everybody and their mother had a podcast. Right?
that's fair. That's
You know?
fair.
So you were doing loop pedals before everybody and their mother was doing loop pedals.
Exactly. Yes. So I was doing that whole thing, and nothing was really happening with it. But I continued with it, and then in 2019, I realized that hey, like there's a lot more fish in the sea on YouTube or on the internet than there are in this local pub or local bar or local restaurant. I was just wallpaper music. I called it.
Wallpaper music.
Yeah, it's like you're just there, and,
Yeah.
and people
You're back
Are
Notice
going on
it.
with their night.
Yeah,
Background.
exactly. Nobody really
You're
cares.
lucky
You
if
know,
you get
I'm
a
not going
couple
to be,
tips.
the
Yeah.
next Justin Bieber that just gets found in a bar, right? So I was like, let me start making YouTube videos.
Yeah, the odds of that happening are slim to none.
So I started making YouTube videos, and I posted on social media. Let me rephrase that. I started making social media videos because I would post on all platforms once a day, every day. And I started doing that for months, and then all of a sudden YouTube really started taking off. This was in 2019. So I started getting, I would do all these different types of content, whether it be a vlog, whether it be talking about my music and like behind the lyrics, behind the scenes, just playing, jamming. And then I found this, came across this random video. I distinctly remember it, and they called it essentially a reaction video. I'm sure you've heard of reaction videos.
Yeah, it was a very popular.
Yeah. So
I almost feel like
this
cheating.
This was 6 years ago, though.
Do you feel like that's cheating?
Well, so let me get into the story because I have a very biased opinion about that. So this was in 2019, and this guy was literally just talking about the song, and being like, "Wow, this is a good song. Yeah, cool." I was like, "Man, I have years of music knowledge that I could talk about these songs with and do this way better than these people are." So I started making these reaction videos. But what I would do is I would say, "Hey, we're gonna listen to the song together," but then I'd be like, "This is how they made it. These are the instruments they use. This is."
So you're teaching them
it was
about
a totally educational. Like, this is how that sound you just heard. This is what it's called. This is how you can achieve it. This is how.
So it's not even you're not even reacting.
No, it was a breakdown.
It would be labeled as a reaction video
Yeah,
because it's
exactly.
just a green screen and put their video, and you're teaching about.
Yeah, it was a music breakdown.
So somebody could watch the video, and if they were interested in music and they played music, they
100%.
could see yours and click yours, and you'd be like, "Hey, how to
Exactly.
get this sound?" And
That's exactly what it was.
so that's different. That's not really.
Yeah, but I could call them reaction breakdowns or music breakdowns and stuff, and but like
A little more in depth than that.
Yeah,
Though. You're not just sitting there like. Because the reaction videos, the reason why I
yeah.
call them cheating is because I've seen somewhere they're just sitting there
Yeah.
and they're letting the video play, and then they go, "Wow, that was really cool."
Yeah.
Whoa. Oh shit! And then they pause it and they like freak out.
Yeah.
And they come back like I gotta rewind that. And I go, but you're just being very animated to somebody else's work. You're not
I
even.
had a hard time with reactions. I wouldn't watch any of them. Like I just thought they were I thought they were dumb. I was like, why would anybody watch this stuff? Meanwhile,
You're watching it.
no. Meanwhile, like I'm
You're
creating.
sitting there
it.
watching it. Why would anybody watch this? This is so dumb.
No. The reaction videos. I didn't watch any of my I didn't watch other people's reactions, and I asked people. I was like, why do you watch my videos? Because to fast forward a little, YouTube really started to kick off, and then 2020 it kicked off even further. Like for example, like.
Well, that was the COVID.
So I had before in 2019 I hit 1,000 followers, and I was like, subscribers. I was like, oh my gosh, that's crazy, 1,000 people. Like I was like, this is insane.
I can monetize now.
I didn't even think about it. Actually, I didn't monetize until over 10,000 subscribers, and only because my subscribers pushed me to monetize. I didn't want to inconvenience them with ads until I realized YouTube was putting ads in my videos anyway.
Yeah.
They were just making the money. Yeah,
they
I
were
just
still
wasn't
getting
paid for it.
Yeah, they were still getting money. They're gonna make their money.
But I didn't want to inconvenience them. I wanted people to enjoy the videos, and I had the long-term perspective. Like I'd much rather them enjoy the videos without mid-roll ads or anything like that, and then they would just not be inconvenienced. So then I fast forward. It ended up becoming my full-time job, but I asked people, I was like, why are you watching these? And they said, you ever have a really, like a song you love, and you're like, hey, like check out this song, I want you, and you watching your buddy experiencing the song for the first time. That's their perspective of a reaction video, is they get to recommend a song to you, and now for the first time ever, you get to experience something that they love, and it's like, they get that secondhand high of like, because you can never re-experience that for the first time, and they get to now experience it vicariously for the first time through you. And I was like,
I can 100%.
that's fair. I was like,
relate.
that's fair.
The way that I would relate that is the feeling that Eric and I get when somebody, like for instance, you're smoking our cigar for the first time,
Yeah.
and the feeling we can see, like when somebody truly enjoys the cigar. The thing that we put so much passion and effort behind to release.
I'm sure you've probably said it 1,000 times on the podcast, but at some point in this, I want to hear the story behind it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
We'll do the quick version, but it's the same thing. Like you said, when you have a song or you make a song,
Yeah.
and then you listen, somebody listens to it, and you can see that they're like really vibing with it. That feeling of, wow, I produced something that is making somebody else feel really, really good. Same thing with the cigars. When we produce something and somebody else enjoys it, and they send a picture of it, like smoking it, and they go, wow, I really like this cigar.
Yeah,
It's like,
that's cool, man.
Thank you, man. That's why we do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now imagine you get to watch that interaction. That's
Yeah, right.
the idea behind the.
That's a good point, because a
And I
lot
was
of times, but like we don't, like right now we can see the interaction, but a lot of people that on the internet that have ordered the cigar and they smoke it for the first time, we don't get to see the reaction.
Yeah.
We hear it afterwards, and they send us a picture, but you don't get to see it first time.
It's like a customer review, a live customer review, and so that being said, I started posting all different types of videos. The reaction videos started doing well, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna run with all of this stuff, and I just started posting YouTube videos. And in 2020, I think I went from like I think 2020 was 2,000 to 20,000 subscribers,
Nice.
and then 21 was 20,000 to 100,000 subscribers,
Wow.
and then and now we're and after
You
that,
still do it now?
yes and no. Yes, I do, but not nearly as full time and not nearly as I don't post every day. It's something I still post about here and there. But you know what happened? The transition was like I was like I'm tired. Like I still want to be a famous musician. That was the goal, and it still is to some degree. If it happens at this point, it happens. If it's not, it is what it is. I've made my peace with it. Life is long, and if it's meant to be from God, it's meant to be, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Listen,
So, but-
it'll look at some of these. Like I always say that when people, I want to be this, and they go, oh well, I'm already. You know, they say it's too late. I'm 30 years old. I'm 40 years old. I'm 50 years old. I'm 60 years old. Like, that's never gonna happen. I said, look at like Oprah Winfrey or J.K. Rowling or Warren Buffett or
Absolutely.
Walt Disney or all these people
KFC.
didn't make it
Colonel Sanders.
until like 50 years old, 60 years old, 70. Like they didn't.
It's true.
You know what I'm
Colonel
saying?
Sanders was like
So-
60 years old.
Yeah.
What's what I'm saying? Like I think it was Warren Buffett didn't make like okay, Warren Buffett invested. He made his first million at like 30 something, but he didn't become a billionaire until he was like in his late 50s.
Yeah.
Walt Disney didn't create anything until he was much later on. J.K. Rowling didn't write Harry Potter until she was like 50 something. So.
Yeah.
You know,
I
there's
hear
still
you, man.
time,
Absolutely.
man.
Yeah, that's in God's hands.
It's in God's hands, man. If it's meant
So-
to be, He'll make the
exactly.
pathway for it. If it's not,
Exactly.
just trust in His
100%.
plan, and you'll be all right.
I couldn't agree more. Absolutely. So that being said, I still do it. But so I made the transition. I was like, you know what? People started to know me as the reaction guy, and it
What was your channel
It's
name?
Jacob Restituto. It's
Oh,
still
it's
up there.
just-
You can-
okay,
yeah.
it's still there?
So we're hanging around like 150,000 subscribers.
Check it out, Jacob Restituto, YouTube. Check
I
it out.
appreciate it. Thank you so much. And I made the decision. I was like, you know what? I don't want to do this. I don't want to be the reaction guy. So I'm going to pull back from reactions and continue. Because the whole reason I did this, actually, just to caveat all this, is as a gateway to my music.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you want people to how to find you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we're gonna check out Taylor Swift's new song. But by the way, if you're interested in this kind of music, check out my music.
Now, you said you were at like 1,000 subscribers at the time, right?
Now
It's
I
okay.
have a rookie mistake. That's
No,
a
it's
rookie.
fine. It's
I'm
fine.
talking
Yeah.
too
It's
much.
That's okay. That's what happens.
So you know how to
with me,
relight it?
Hold on, I think
There you
I
go. You're
salvaged
good.
it.
You're good. You're good.
Yeah, blow into the cigar. Yeah, it looks.
What is it called? It's called a retro or
Well, that's when you take the smoke from your throat through your mouth. I mean, through your mouth to your nose.
It's called a purge. Yeah.
Yeah,
Purging
you're purging.
it.
Yeah.
So I heard that you're supposed to purge it like halfway through, and it completely changes the flavor of a
Yeah.
cigar.
So you're supposed to actually purge it right after you light it.
I didn't know that one.
Some people, it's not. If you want to smoke it like the perfect way, it doesn't.
Well, I know
really-
purging 100% changes the flavor of a cigar.
Yeah. So what happens
No
is
question about it.
So what happens is when you first light it, right? You're gonna get the first couple of puffs. You're gonna get some of the harsh flavors because you just lit it, right? So you do a purge and you kind of blow out some of the not burning smoke, but you kind of clean it quick. After you get down
The
a little
combustion
bit,
stuff, yeah.
after you smoke down a little bit, you want to purge again because what you're getting rid of is any stale smoke that's sitting inside the cigar that hasn't, like it's just sitting in there. So when you blow it out, you kind of getting rid of some of that smoke.
A lot
You
of
can
cigars
make a
in there.
deposit.
And then
That's a
the
lot of
same
cigars.
thing, like right now when the cigar goes out, if it went out, you would just torch the edges, like where the burn meets the wrapper. You just torch those a little bit. Then you could pull a couple of puffs, then purge it, and that kind of every time you purge, you're just blowing out any stale smoke. So
Can we talk about this? I want to comment. Can I make a commentary on this?
Please do.
You get a reaction. Of
Do you like it?
We're getting a cigar reaction from the reaction guy.
Oh
Yeah,
God,
do you-
please! No,
First question
I quit
is-
that job. I quit that job.
First question is, do you like it?
I do.
Good.
It is lighter than I expected. To be honest with you, want an honest review?
Yeah,
Of course.
I don't want to.
Don't
No,
sugarcoat shit.
100% honest review, man.
It's a very light cigar, even for the Maduro wrapper.
Okay.
Wow.
It
Means
is.
you got a pretty experienced palate.
I was just gonna say, can I have
Please,
a follow up question? We go back and
yeah,
forth.
yeah, please, yeah, okay.
So it's lighter for your palate. Do you typically smoke Maduro cigars?
I like them. Yes,
You like fuller bodied cigars?
for sure. Yeah,
Do you typically drink clearly whiskey, scotch?
no question. Yes.
Okay, so your palate is accustomed to more dark.
I like.
And the next question to add it up, you gave me a Merlot wine that you made, which is one of the darkest wines you can make. So I'm assuming that you like some of that type of wine.
describe it to my friends my palate is I like to be punched in the face with flavor, like with the
Yes,
flavor or whatever.
okay.
So
Yeah.
I want my coffee to be practically mud. I want my whiskey to. I actually. So I don't like mixed drinks because you can't taste the alcohol. I don't drink to get drunk. That's not my personality. I came from my dad's a recovering addict, so I'm always very cautious with any kind of
Understandable.
addictive substance, whether it be cigars, alcohol. Like I've never done a drug in my life because I don't want to open that door that he can shut.
Neither have I, man.
So that being said, I'm always very conscious of a mind or mood altering substance is what they call it.
I got you.
So
I got you.
I don't drink to get drunk, but when I do, I want to enjoy it. And that's why I don't like mixed drinks. Or even you go to a restaurant, you spend 15, 18, 20 bucks on this fancy, this is our cocktail menu.
And then it tastes like shit.
You don't know it
Watered
tastes
down.
fine, but you don't taste the alcohol. I want to taste the alcohol.
See, that's a good point because whenever I always drink, I either get a glass of wine or I get bourbon neat. I don't even put.
I agree.
don't put
That's me.
ice in it because I want to taste the bourbon.
That's me.
And I also do it because unless I know, and we've been getting into margaritas too. I like a good margarita, and I like a good cocktail, Manhattan, old fashioned like that.
Sure.
But unless you know the bartender and how they make it, then you don't know. You could order it, and they cannot make a good margarita. They maybe don't make a good old fashioned. They maybe don't make a good.
And that's actually a thing in the sense of
So when you order
if you
one of
like
these,
whiskey or bourbon, you'll know if this is a good or bad old fashioned.
right?
And
But
you're
also,
like, "Oh my
if I
gosh."
don't order that, if I just order straight,
They can't
you
screw it
can't
up.
mess this up. And if you
Like
like,
I
I don't
mess up the pour. That's like, hold on, $15 for what?
Yeah, they can mess up the pour, but you can't mess up the flavor.
No, yeah, I
Glass of
agree.
wine, you can't mess it up unless the wine is stale. But if I'm ordering a bottle
Sure.
and it's not corked and it's fresh,
Yeah.
then you can't mess it up. But a cocktail, unless you know what the bartender how they do it,
Agreed.
they
I
mess
agree.
it up. So that's another reason why I like it. I like it straight. But to get back to the cigar, that is probably why you think this is more of. I wouldn't say a mild.
No, for
like
sure.
this one's mild.
So what I would
But
say
this is more medium to you.
Yeah.
That's why we say it's a medium to full.
Yeah,
Depending on what
depending
your
on your
palate.
palate.
For us, it's medium.
Agreed. Yeah.
I don't think this is a full-bodied cigar.
Yeah.
I
we
do have
also
to
smoke
say
a lot.
one thing I've noticed in cigars lately is saltiness. I've never heard it before. Like in this, I never really noticed it until I regret.
Saltiness,
Hold on. Let me say this because I
Yeah.
regret watching this cigar. I was looking up. I recently got into Rocky Patel cigars,
Okay.
and
It's a good cigar. Good brand.
yeah, I really don't. To be honest with you, I don't know a ton about.
That's a good brand. The
you know.
Rocky Patel, it's the purple one.
Ray Lewis.
No.
Oh,
No, it's not purple. It's the Grand Reserve.
Grand Reserve, and that.
It's the Grand Reserve, but there is a purple one.
Is it? It's not this one, is it? Is it this one?
No. The purple one I know is the Ray Lewis, but that's Rocky Patel. But
Rocky Patel purple.
I don't know.
So I was buying this.
It is. It's this one. The special edition Toro.
no,
yeah.
That one's good.
That's a good one.
That one's good, and then the is it the Grand Reserve, the red one, the big
Yeah.
like 6
Red, white, and gold. I think
Yeah, that's a
it
good one
is.
too.
Yeah. So my father-in-law knows that I like cigars, and for Christmas he got me a ton of cigars, and one of them was this Rocky Patel sampler pack, and I was like, I really enjoyed it, and then I was like, I'm gonna buy the sampler pack again, and then I'm gonna take notes on it and say which ones I like, which ones I don't like,
Yeah.
so that when I've never bought I usually just buy single cigars or whatever, and I've never bought in a box or purchased a box. I don't think bought in this. I've never bought
That
a
one's
box.
good too, by the way. That
Yeah, I
black
gotta
one
try
over-
that.
The black one over there.
What is it?
That's the vintage series.
What year though?
1992.
Okay, yeah. So I have had that one. It is good.
Anyway,
It-
I always turn around and look at the boxes. 'cause
It
we have
comes in a. They call it
Box
the
press.
Yes,
Yeah,
a
yeah,
box
yeah,
press.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So anyway, okay, so
So I started taking notes on them on my last sampler package, and I was like, these ones I like. This is what I thought about it. Would I buy it again? And I was watching.
I like that little journal.
It was
man.
cool, man. It was.
That's
cool.
how we
It was
started
fun.
our Instagrams.
It was
That's how
fun.
I started Instagram.
So then I typed in. I regret doing this because I watched this like a quick little thing about this guy smoking a cigar, and he's like, "Oh, it's very salty on the palate." And I never thought about that with cigars. And now I smoke a cigar every once in a while. I'm like, "Oh, it is salty," and it
Yeah.
kind of ruined it for me. And I have to say, this is not salty at all because that can really ruin the flavor.
Okay, well, that's good.
Which
That's
I really
good.
enjoy.
I haven't heard that yet.
Yeah.
This is a
No, we heard, which was a wild one on this cigar,
Popcorn.
buttered popcorn. Somebody now
I
here's
could kind of see that.
so here's the crazy thing.
I can
Here's the
actually
crazy
see
thing.
that.
You said you wanted to dive in a little bit of cigars. So this is what's wild and what I love about cigars, and it's the same thing with wines. Okay, same thing with bourbons. Is everybody's palate is different.
Yeah.
So this gentleman, I think it was Sean, Cigar Boss Man, said it. Shout out to Sean. And everybody's palate is different. Okay, now Sean's got a stronger palate too. He calls it lead. He goes, I need some fucking lead, is what he calls, right, when he drinks whiskey. And he said that he gets buttered popcorn. And Eric and I was like, we have never tasted buttered popcorn in this. I don't get buttered popcorn.
Ever. I've just never in
But
general.
for him,
Yeah.
his palate picked up buttered popcorn. For
You want-
me, my palate picks up like espresso, some leather, a little bit of spice, some dark chocolate, things like that. Eric's palate's very similar to mine too.
I
But-
get the leather a bit, yeah.
Right? And I find it amazing that the same blend can taste three
Yeah.
different ways to three different people.
On the smoke, I get a little bit of vanilla though.
Little vanilla, okay.
So
Oh, and
What-
another tip that we found is we had our manufacturer on the show,
very cool.
and we were talking about, his name is Jonas. Shout out to Jonas, Blackbird Cigars. He's the man, dude. He's awesome. And he was saying different parts of your mouth pick up different flavors. So we did it live. You pull in the smoke. He says, pull the smoke in, hold it on one side of your mouth, and blow it out on that side of your mouth.
Yeah.
And then
okay.
lick your lips and see what flavors you get. And then do it again, but do it on the other side of your mouth. Now try to blow it out that side of the mouth and see what flavors you pick up. He's like, you'll have two different flavors because there's different taste buds, different parts of your mouth pick up different. He's like, usually one side of the mouth will pick
It's
up.
sweeter on my right side.
He said usually one side of the mouth picks up more of the sweet flavors and the other side picks up more of like the savory.
Really? Look
Why-
at that. That's crazy.
Wild. And
That
we didn't
is
know.
crazy.
We didn't know
Tobacco
that, but-
science, baby.
But yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, which is why, like, whenever you're sipping wine too, you swirl
Oh,
it
that's
around your
crazy,
entire
man.
mouth. Don't
That's
just let
funny
it
that
sit.
I said that too, and that's
Yeah.
the truth. That's
Yeah.
so wild. So
Yeah.
it is science.
And then
man.
if you do retrohale at all, have you ever tried
Yeah,
retrohaling?
yeah.
Retrohaling, you get a lot more unique flavors.
Yeah.
Isn't that wild, though? That's why
Yeah.
when you taste wine, you're supposed to swirl it
Yeah,
around.
and you-
Go get it around every part of your mouth.
Yeah, if you really want to try a cigar and the flavor profile, you could do that too. But the retrohale is crazy.
and
That's
then
like
I'll
the
send
real
you the
unique flavors.
flavor wheel. There's a cigar flavor wheel,
Okay, please, yeah.
and the flavor wheel is
Yeah,
just
it's like this.
a wheel, and it breaks it down into different categories. So there's like plants, which is you can go into the floral side of it. You can go into the woody side of it. Then they have like meats, where you can have different types of meats. They have a nut category
Yeah.
with all different types of nuts, and they'll have like part of the plants. It'll break down to like the coffee bean, and they'll have different bean plants.
Oh wow.
Part of the meats is like leather, I guess, kind
Yeah.
of in there too. But they'll have all these different flavors, and it starts in the center with generic categories, and then as you get further out into the wheel, it gets more granular.
Yeah.
And it's great when you're trying cigars because you can usually, or sometimes what happens is you'll puff on a cigar, and you can't really pick up the flavor. But when you read the word, then it associates the flavor, and you're like, that's what I'm tasting.
There's
Yeah.
even flavor tasting kits you
Yeah.
can buy.
Oh, really?
And I have like little compartments of like cinnamon, chocolate, wood shavings, and then you can either smell, eat, then have your cigar, and it changes everything.
Yeah.
that,
So like for instance, one of them
this is what it
is
looks- this is
I
just
feel
one
you.
flavor
Oh, that's cool.
flavor
Wow.
wheel.
That's serious.
You could just Google it.
So one of the things is like they'll have a little jar of leather, they'll have a little jar of cinnamon, they have a little jar of vanilla, they have a little jar of like coffee, and you'll puff on the cigar, and then you'll smell the coffee, you'll kind of whiff the cigar, puff on the cigar, smell the coffee. I'm like, is that the flavor I'm getting? No, not really. You pick up the leather, smell the leather. Is that the flavor? No. Pick up the vanilla in your case, smell vanilla. Retro like. Yeah, that's what I'm getting. I'm getting the same. It's a whole science,
So I
and it's
think that
wild when you go
cigars
through it.
are situational dependent, though.
It's true.
What
too.
I mean by that is
Yeah.
we're just chatting, hanging
I know
out.
exactly what you mean by
I want something that's really full bodied, really sit and enjoy kind of thing. This is very good. I'm not complaining about it. But this is, to me, again, my taste. This is, I'm doing something. I'm cutting the lawn. I don't want a full-bodied heavy cigar.
This is more of like a
leisurely
golf cigar.
I guess I don't golf. So
Well, yeah.
Because
this
this is something that I could hang in my mouth. I'm cutting it on. I'm putting it in, and I don't mind the smoke in my mouth or my face. I'm a big hunter.
Nice.
You hunt?
I want to.
Come
Yeah.
on, we'll go out this season.
I want
Get
to.
your licenses. We'll go out.
I want to very.
We'll go out.
I'm a gun owner, and I'm pro hunting, pro guns. I would love to hunt.
Have you ever been hunting?
I have not been hunting.
Well, you need a license to hunt.
You need a license.
Well, I've been
to hunt.
hunting, but I would just hang out.
No, I haven't.
all over.
I like I said, I'm pro hunter. I want to. I absolutely want. I want to live in. I'm a mountain. I have a moose on my leg. I'm a mountain man.
My
okay?
goal, goal this year, I want to go black bear hunting and get a black bear.
Damn.
So, man, that's my goal.
I got a house upstate. There's plenty of black
Come
bear up there.
on, man.
That's where I want. Like
Yeah.
so,
We're gonna become good friends.
Yeah.
I'm
I mean,
gonna-
my
listen,
uncle
this
hunts
is-
up there.
What we're
We go
drinking is
a
from the
lot.
Adirondacks. Okay, and I
Get your licenses, man. We'll
I
go.
love
I'll
it.
take you guys.
I love it. And I got a buddy that's a big
I'm
hunter
new.
too.
I'm relatively new, but
I have a buddy who's hunted since he was a kid, and I would always go with him, and he always was, get your license, I just never did it. But
Now,
I would
let me
always
ask
just
you
go
this.
with him.
Let me ask you this. So I'm pro hunting. Okay,
Sure.
I'm all pro hunting. However, as long as you eat what you kill.
oh gosh.
Okay.
I
Now
wouldn't-
I have to say, because there's some people that
No
will hunt
way.
just to like,
No way.
or you hunt and you sell the meat to somebody else who
Sure.
can eat it, right? But the people that go like to Africa and they hunt big
No.
game just to kill an elephant and hang it, I'm
No.
like,
You know,
why?
it's actually
What's the
funny
point?
we're having this conversation because I'm.
I told you we can go anywhere.
All
in
right,
this
if we're being
conversation.
fully honest,
we could go anywhere.
the reason I'm a little late is because I was in a gun store.
What'd you buy?
Fair
I
enough.
didn't buy any. I bought ammo, but
For what?
for my Mossberg, and I bought. You ever hear the mini shells?
I have not.
Oh, we're gonna don't
Because I have.
I want to tell you about that in a sec, but
That's what I have.
The
is
guy I was
Mossberg.
talking to was just kept going on, and I was like, I gotta get out of
Where-
here. Man.
where
I'm
were
running.
you?
I was in Oyster Bay.
Okay.
And I was like, I gotta get out. I'm gonna be late, man. I'm gonna be late. And I was stressing, but I was like, this guy, like,
I'll give you a pass. You're buying ammo. It's fine.
Yeah. So, so I had time to kill, and in fact, I had finished with my client, and
Pun
I had time to
intended.
kill.
Something. I had time to kill.
So then I walked into the store because and I want to get my concealed carry permit. I have my pistol license, but I want to get my concealed carry
Where do you live?
in Suffolk.
I live in Suffolk.
All right, we're gonna have the same conversation I just had with this guy.
So if you need a signature,
Oh wait, no, for the concealed carry though, because I have my pistol permit.
don't you need signatures? For,
I don't know. I don't know much about the concealed carry.
Well, I know for the permit you need signatures of non-relatives.
Yeah, and I have that already.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm assuming the concealed carry you might need it too. We might have to have another conversation,
the other
not just one
conversation
conversation
that I had with this guy was that, and this is because the reason I laughed at that is because I had already had this conversation with a buddy of mine. I didn't totally believe him, and then this guy was saying it, and he was saying, this guy, I won't say what town he's in because I don't want to blow
Yes,
anything
that's
else. Because
fine.
he was saying that it's like a loophole in New York State that, and I don't want to get in trouble with this, but when New York State, like, it's BS that they make you take this additional course for concealed carry, that your pistol license is a concealed carry, but then they're like, it's a money grab for making you take this concealed
it's
carry
New
course.
York.
I don't
I
know.
would-
Whatever. Point being,
I'd get
I
it.
was just having this whole conversation with this guy, and I really enjoyed it, but I was like, I gotta get out of here at the same time. And so I bought from my Mossberg shotgun, and so these mini shells, and then I bought.
That's what I have. I have a Mossberg shotgun.
What do you have?
I have a.
I have the Maverick 88. It's a cheaper kind of thing.
I have a A870, I think it is.
All right, cool, yeah. So these mini shells are so. What I bought
590. I have a 590.
Oh yeah, cool. So I bought a couple of the mini shells, a couple boxes of the mini shells, and I bought. You ever hear of the rubber bullets? The
Yeah.
rubber shells. So I didn't know about these. He's like, these are sick because you keep a couple of these and at the beginning of your thing, and if you have an intruder, you hit him with these.
Yeah, it knocks him out.
Or it does enough damage where it's like, hey,
Doesn't kill him.
Get the
doesn't
fuck
kill
out.
them, get out of here. But if they continue to come, then that means that they're on crack or something like that, and they're like, okay, you're not gonna.
Yeah.
Then you
You
have
throw
to.
a couple. Yeah, the rubber shells.
I was like, this is pretty
It's like
sick.
shooting beanbags. Yeah, it's like the
I
little
mean,
bean.
a beanbag that'll hurt him for a month because I have a welt.
Oh
beside
no,
him.
it'll knock it. And if you hit him like I don't even know if you hit him in the head, it might.
No, he
give
said
a
it'll.
concussion.
It'll hurt a lot.
It'll
but
knock
it won't
him
kill
out,
him.
but
yeah.
it won't. Yeah, it's not lethal. Non-lethal rounds is what.
So I was like,
yeah.
this is pretty. So he's like, what he was
It's
ex-military.
actually good. I gotta grab some of those.
He sold them for I don't know what they go. Like he might have ripped me.
I think they
do
even
it-
sell like gun insurance now.
What is
Where
that?
I don't know if it's called gun insurance, but you can get insurance just in case you kill somebody for protecting yourself.
In New York State, that's actually probably a
I don't know if it's
really
New York
good
State.
idea. Though.
Or you could
There's
just
a-
move to
there's a-
Texas and
Well,
it's
that's a
totally
different
fine.
story.
There's a
but I'm
YouTube
saying-
channel that I watch called Donut Operator.
You
and
want
he's-
any more? You want a little bit more?
Well, you guys have to finish yours first, man.
This is my second one.
Oh, okay, that's fair. Okay.
There's a channel that I watch on YouTube called Donut Operator, and he's like a former cop, and he does like
Wait.
reaction videos to
Reaction.
It's called Donut Operator, and he's
Yeah.
a cop.
Thank you.
That's
Cheers, guys.
hilarious.
well, he might be a former cop or something, but he does like reaction videos to like body cam footage, and he always has these ads.
Oh, that's interesting.
And I think he's in Texas, and he always talks about guns
That's
and
not a
whatnot.
bad idea, though, man.
But one of the advertisements was
Insurance for
insurance for like
Well,
if
I
you
mean,
kill
because
somebody.
in New York State, it really
that?
makes you second guess. Because it's like, wait, this guy was in my house, but I'm getting sued for it's insane. But
I'll tell you a quick funny story about how my my in-laws, my wife's from Texas, and so all my in-laws are Texas. I fucking love Texas.
country of Texas.
Literally, yeah, pretty much. Then they're like cowboys,
Yeah.
like Texas, not like so. I say she's from Austin because if I say that she's from San Marcos or Gonzales or Luling or Seguin, nobody knows who that is. But Austin's the airport you fly into, and then they live on like the outskirts, like in the country side of Texas, and
Because Austin is super liberal, actually.
and that's what I'm saying. So if I say like from Austin, but she's really liberal. But she's like they're on the outskirts. Okay, like my father-in-law's freaking great. He is like cowboy. I don't care if it's 0 degrees or 115. He's in cowboy boots, Wrangler jeans, button-up cowboy hat every day. Okay, real cowboys. And aside from like owning a ranch or anything like that. But
Does he own a ranch?
They do not.
Oh,
but
okay.
he's a truck driver. But
cool.
cowboys. And so the quick story is
It's never a quick story.
it's a quick story. He actually.
This is a really good
So this is funny.
cigar that you could smoke every day, kind of thing.
Yes,
Appreciate
we
it.
do.
That's what I would say.
We do.
Just to go back to that really quickly, is that like it doesn't punch you in the face, which sometimes I want that, but it does. It is really enjoyable, leisurely,
Thank
and
you,
I can
man.
cut the
I
line.
feel like
could
I'm
go
talking
hunting.
to two Justins right now.
It's great.
It's kind of like
He
poetry.
said it before. He
Well,
loves
it's
to
kind of
talk.
like
The
that.
hard part,
I
man,
love
is
the-
that like
it's kind of like
can I be
poetry in
honest? I love
motion.
it,
It's
man.
like poetry
Can
in
I be honest
motion.
with you?
I love it.
Is I'm like, oh man, I want to talk more. He's
Maybe-
Justin's talking too much.
Maybe we should have a podcast.
That's why I have my own podcast. Well, you know what's funny is I
Bro.
don't talk in my podcast. Like let the guest talk. No, I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying.
No,
like,
I told you. This is like a. We just.
No,
It's
I know.
that's actually very common. That's why I'm laughing to myself because it's like listening to two Justins talk.
awesome.
Because
It's
I'm here to listen to you talk. And then if Justin, like I said, he has an idea, he has a thought, he has something, he'll go on it. But I just watching poetry in motion. I got two Justins
So
right now.
I want to bring this all back around to like the continuing of your story.
And by the way,
okay?
it's concealed carry insurance.
there you go.
That's really.
So it says in
interesting. I wanna
South.
look into that.
I just Googled it and it says in South Huntington, New York, if you are a gun owner and find yourself in self-defense situations involving a shooting, you might consider concealed carry insurance, also known as self-defense liability insurance, to help you cover legal costs and potential civil liabilities. And if
That's
you are
wow.
in
In New York, that's
legally
not
justified.
a bad idea,
because
man.
in Texas, it's
No, it's
anybody on your
yeah.
property is trespassing.
Yeah,
so
sure.
the quick story
That's
was
really
my
interesting.
father-in-law actually. I always say that he pulled a gun on a cop, and people are like, "What?"
So
I was
you
like,
tell the headline first. and
Yeah,
then
that's
you-
the headline.
Yeah,
Country guy
clickbait.
pulls a gun on a cop. But the story is that it was late at night, and my brother-in-law had gotten in trouble, did something stupid or whatever, and the cops like down in Texas, they're just like, all right, get in the car, we're gonna bring you home. Where do you live?
Yeah.
Bringing you home, okay? So now they come up the driveway, and they don't have the lights blaring, right? Because it's middle of the night. So
I
they
love
just-
this story.
They just come up the driveway, and it's like 2:00 in the morning, and I guess my mother-in-law was like, somebody's in the driveway. So my father was like, fuck that. Yeah, grabs the gun, comes out on the porch, goes, get off of my property, right? Because it's trespassing.
Yeah.
You warn them,
Sure.
and if they don't get off, you have the right to shoot them, right? So he goes, get off of my property. And then you hear the siren, and he goes, whoop, whoop. Mr. I'm not going to say the last name. Mr. Can you, this is the police. Please put the gun down. We have your son. And he's like, my bad. My bad. Puts it down. He's like,
Sick,
what's
man.
going on? He's like, and then they bring this up. But I always say that he pulled the gun on the cop because he's like, who the fuck are you? Get off my property. Can you please put the gun down? This is the police. You know, like, but now, like,
bad.
think about that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
The police, like, they get it. Like, listen, we get it. We're on your property. Just put the gun down. We'll be fine.
Yeah, man.
So anyway, okay, let's bring it all the way back around.
Where the hell were
Wait. Before we digress, Mini
No,
shells.
Justin.
Mini
Told you.
I want to finish.
Guys,
the
I love
conversation.
you. I don't even know where we are in these conversations.
Wait. I'm keeping tabs. I was just joking, man. Like
This is
I
fucking
just
awesome,
I just
man.
filmed the podcast with somebody, and one of the things that they said is, people joke that like I have 1,000 tabs open in my brain. I'm like, first of all, I have like 900 tabs open on my computer currently, and my brain still works like that. So
You know that once, like after a certain amount, you can't even see what the tab is. Like after you get past like 25, because I've seen people present like for work. I seen them present, and they have all these tabs.
that's
I go,
not me.
You can't even see
That's
what the
actually
tab
not me.
is.
No,
like,
I'm the complete opposite. That shit gets me
No,
super
I know.
anxious.
because you can't see what it is. Like if
Nah,
you
everything's
have a
gotta be
little bit,
clean.
you can see
Nah.
the first couple of letters.
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah.
all right, I know that's ESPN. I know
Yeah,
that's
it's me.
whatever.
Yeah.
But if once it gets shrunk down,
No,
you can't.
I'm not that bad. I feel like you're that bad.
No, I'm not.
Just mini shells, they're sick. And the reason I actually got them from the guy is I walked in to ask him about the concealed carry stuff. We had a whole conversation. But I said, hey, do you by any chance have any do you have any mini shells? And he's like, yeah, I do. And I couldn't find them online. All the places are sold out. They're sick. So if you have Mossberg, you probably need. Are we good?
Yeah. If you ever look at us like checking, we're just making sure that stuff's still.
Bro, I
recording.
get agita about that because I have my own podcast.
You gotta
I've been
check. So
filming
like,
a lot
I
of
look
videos.
down
lost-
here.
we've
and
lost
we just
shit.
check
I
for
know.
it. Just
That's
make
why
sure the
I just
blinking-
had a heart attack too, man. I had
Make
to
sure
turn
the
that
lights
for
are
you.
still blinking. That's all I gotta make sure.
I need
So-
to see the blue line and the red line, and the blue and the red lines.
So, mini shells are sick. They came out, I don't know, relatively recent, but they have enough power to do some damage. But they're half the size. So if your Mossberg holds 6 or 7, 7-1 in the chamber, you can hold 12 because they're mini shells.
So, but they're the same. They're the same
They're 12 gauge,
12 gauge, but
but they're
half the-
short.
Damn.
They're sick, dude.
Because that's mine. Mine is 6+1,
So you could probably hold.
So you're
10,
doubling
at least,
your ammo
at
on
least
that.
10 to 13.
and they do half as much damage, I guess.
I
They're
mean,
slugs though,
Well, you can buy all 3: slugs, birdshot, and buckshot.
but half as much.
I mean, a slug.
Bro, I mean, I
No,
don't,
but I'm saying, but half as much, right? Because
you
have-
shoot someone with a half a slug or a buckshot, it's still gonna, you're fucking blowing their
Yeah,
arm
but I'm
off.
saying, but it's half. I mean, you should.
I
Whether
mean,
it's a half
I
slug-
don't really know enough. So I was watching all these. I didn't
It's
do
a cool thing though.
I didn't
Mini-
do a
you
ton
get
of
12 shots in there.
I didn't do a ton
Do
of
they
research.
sell mini like?
Mini
Can-
45.
Well, no. Here's my question. So let's say you have 6.
Yeah.
There's 6+1,
Yeah.
and the half shells is 2 and 1, right? So could you put in 3
Yeah.
rubbers,
Yeah.
3 rubbers, and then 6 minis?
So so what he recommended is
Dang, dude.
so this is what the guy recommended. So I was like, these mini shells are
it's
sick
like a combo
because the God forbid worst case scenario is you don't want. I have a 45 at home. I have a 1911. I'm obsessed with it. I think it's the
I
coolest
love
thing.
1911s,
Bro, I'm
dude.
obsessed with it.
I was
Like,
shooting that in Texas. It was my favorite.
It's
so easy to shoot,
but it's beautiful.
so easy.
I don't like the Glocks because they're all
No,
they're all-
1911s are like when I get a handgun eventually. 1911. It's just they're so nice.
People are like, why'd you buy a 1911? I'm like, what, bro? This is the. I'm sorry if we're excluding you, man. I apologize.
Not excluding me at all. I'm just taking it all in.
So
he's like a sponge, man. He's just sucking up the information.
I'm obsessed with the 1911. It's a gorgeous gun, gorgeous. Point being though is, I would never use that in my home because it's gonna go into 3 neighbors' houses.
Yeah.
The full metal jackets are designed to go and continue going.
Well, it's basically like a shotgun too. Like if you're blowing your entire wall off.
Yeah,
If
but
you have a-
yeah,
like-
yes, but you're also like, I would never like you would go into your neighbor's house and like
Yeah.
that's a tragedy.
The rubber is not.
So the rubber's not, first of all, and like even certain buckshot probably would not, depending on the situation.
Yeah,
it
probably-
might, but
well, I don't know if it would go. It would definitely damage the wall.
oh yeah, no question.
And
But
it
like
depends on where you shoot. If you're on an outside wall, yeah, it might go through. But if you're shooting like
Yeah.
through an inside wall,
a slug would, and I would never use a slug in my house. Like
Yeah,
it would.
slug would.
So even if you are using buckshot mini shells, it'll do enough damage to be like that guy's not hurting you anymore. And second of all, it's now thankfully not going through your neighbor's house.
And now would a mini be lethal?
Yeah, I would say. I mean, I think so.
I feel like the best thing would be is the rubbers.
So this is what the guy
'Cause, I mean,
recommended.
you put 3 rubbers.
So
into
he
somebody,
recommended
like-
you put 3. He said he had 4. I think 4 rubbers in, 2 to the chest, 2 to the head, and
If you're still up, you're definitely on coke.
and
or
then
something.
and then he has 3 buckshots in there or 2 buckshots.
You'd be like freaking Tony Montana,
yeah.
where you've got
So it was 4 because I think it's
pump
his,
full of
his
lead,
was-
and he's
his-
like, "I'm still here." Ah.
his was 5 plus 1.
Eric
So-
is zoned. Right?
All right, last comment, and then we'll go back to my story.
I'm looking at Eric. He's just like this.
I'm just,
You know what? I don't get to talk about this stuff
I'm-
enough, man. I enjoy talking.
I
about
want
this.
you to talk as much as possible. Don't feel like you're ever talking too much. I am
See,
just
this
listening.
is also why Eric has me around because I can talk about any
Yeah.
topic underneath the sun. I to talk about. So Eric's just like, that's why I have Justin around, because no matter what the guests talk about, I think
this
relate.
guy's-
When I'm locked in on the guest, that means I just want you to talk. So
I
I'm glad
appreciate
I'm
that.
see Justin just picking up on the by leg and saying, Justin,
I appreciate
let's
that.
we're back on the Jacob Justin podcast, and we're back talking about
We're
guns.
gonna get around. This is probably gonna be a 2-hour show, so we're gonna come back around. But finish.
This is all
let's
good.
finish. Let's finish the gun topic, and then we're gonna go back around to your music and how you.
Yeah, because if anybody's interested in guns, we're gonna leave them hanging if we change content.
No, you got to finish it off.
Finish,
Exactly.
finish it, man. We gotta finish everything. Okay?
So
finish what you start.
So the mini shells, he recommended it. He's like, I think his was probably 5+1, because what that means for people that if they don't know, it's five in the
5 in the barrel, one in the
chamber. So he said he has four rubbers and then 2 buckshots. So and he's ex law enforcement. So he said like,
and when people don't know, buckshot is to kill a buck, which is a deer.
Yeah, but it's not a slug is a big lead ball.
It's little pellets.
Buckshot is is large
larger
pellets, and then bird shot.
Yeah, duck shot is
tiny little pellets
tiny
that
little
probably wouldn't kill somebody. It
probably wouldn't kill, but it's gonna hurt like a bitch.
And there's a lot of surgery going on.
Yeah, you're gonna have a lot of shrapnel all over the place.
So what he said is he has four
rubbers,
2 buck, and he's like, if they continue to come at that point, you're using buckshot. But at that, what I found really interesting, he especially in New York, is he's like, at that point you have full liability, like, you know,
it's almost like a warning shot.
If you hit somebody with the rubbers and they're still coming, that's full liability. Like there's no lawsuit out, because in New York State you can get really caught up with all the lawsuits and stuff.
Yeah, and it has to. And the other thing too is it's got to be in the front. You can't go in the back, because that means they're fleeing. But that's why, like in Texas, Texas is just, you give them, you say, get off of my property, like I'm armed, ready to fire, get off my property, and if they don't, then
you know what? So I haven't.
You're still probably gonna go to court. You're gonna have
sure, but like you have a lot better leg to stand on at that point.
Yes.
I have them in my truck, and I bought extras. I was gonna give them to my dad. I'll give them to you after instead.
No, you don't have to do that, man.
That's what, we're friends now.
We're friends now. See, you come into the burnout soon.
On the contingency that you get your hunting license.
Oh, nice accountability, baby. Hell yeah. There's a loophole.
It's a loophole.
There's a little tag at the end of that. You can't get it fully.
Yeah, there's an asterisk. We gotta get this in writing, right?
All right, so
back to the Jacob.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen.
Eric.
The Jacob and Justin podcast is over.
Oh no!
And
rookie.
By the way,
Put it on.
that forced me to look down. I see the pocket knife. Nice,
Bro, if I wasn't,
Nice.
let me tell you this.
Nice,
So
nice.
good, bro. You're good. You're
Nice.
he's gonna kick me off. He's gonna.
As in the words of my famous words of Mike Tyson. Knife.
Nice.
Knife.
So, my brother-in-law just moved.
Time out. That's a knife. I have to. That's a knife we got right there.
So my brother-in-law just moved, and he had this knife hanging from from a necklace, and I was like,
Damn.
"That is
like a real knife, not like
I'm like, this is so cool. Tell me, like, where did you get like? And then all of a sudden, I get this email 5 days later. I comment on it like 6 times. And in fact, I wear a cross, and I was like messing around.
we both do. You have a cross?
And I started.
I don't
You have like St. Mary's, St. Michael's.
I was joking around with him. I started carrying it around.
Start carrying it like that.
And
That's mad funny.
I was like, this thing is so cool, man. So all
Let
of
me
a
see
sudden,
your knife.
I checked my I randomly opened my email, and
Yeah, I got like 2 of those in my car.
and it said, and the guy said, the email from Amazon said like, hey, you have a package, your gift is being delivered. And I was like, my gift? Like, what are you talking? And my brother-in-law sent me the knife that I commented 15 times on, and it's like a leather necklace, and then it clicks in, and you can wear it. So
So you could just pull it
if
right
I
out.
wasn't wearing, so I can't wear it with this because it just looks janky with like a button down. But every day with my regular t-shirts, I have it under my shirt.
So you can just pull
So
it right out.
I'm
It's a
concealed
knife.
carrying my knife.
I got buddies that do that.
Ready
have
my
accent.
friend's like, you're so redneck. It's crazy.
sick. That's sick.
So I'm double carrying with this guy,
That's
and
sick.
you know,
All right, Eric, bring us back, baby.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't get to talk about this stuff enough, man.
No,
See,
bro.
I told you, like
Bro,
this is
this is
why we said like
this
our
is okay.
our show. We do interviews, but we don't.
Yeah.
It's more relaxed.
Well,
It's
they
just-
get to
let's
know the
just talk.
personality of the person.
Yeah, like
Wow.
if we were doing an interview about your business show, we wouldn't be talking about it. We would be
Yeah.
interviewing about, all right, what did you do for your show? How did you get it? Like this, like,
Yeah.
and it'd be very.
Oh, we got a FaceTime. Who was coming
This is
on?
my dad. He's on the listen.
Are you on the? Is it hooked up to the audio right now?
I don't know.
I just heard it.
Let's see. What's up? We're filming the show. You're on the show right now. Say hello.
Reminds me of Rush Hour. You waste our film.
Who was smoking this huge stogie, and it reminded me of you. I figured I'd give you a call.
He was smoking a huge stogie and reminded him.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, we're on the show right now. Say hello to our guest. That's Jacob.
It's nice to meet you.
There's Eric.
Yo, there he is.
Yeah. We're filming right now.
Oh, man, classic line.
Exposed.
I know that
He
line.
goes, I've been waiting for how many years?
You got to
Now
come
I'm
up from
finally-"
Florida. You got to be in the podcast studio.
That's awesome.
In his defense, I run a business podcast. My dad owns a business. I haven't had him on.
Oh,
yet,
really?
So, yeah.
What kind of business your dad?
Well, you're on the
He
show
owns a
now,
construction
so.
company.
Oh, really? What's the name of this company?
But listen, I'll call you back
IBD
afterwards, all right?
Construction.
What is it?
IBD Construction.
IBD. I do a lot of
All
insurance.
right,
for
my dad
construction
says
companies.
bye.
Yeah, yeah.
Say bye. My dad says
Nice
bye.
to meet you. Enjoy the stogie.
Mr. Heisig, take it easy. Get tan for me.
All right, I'll call you back later, Dad. Love you.
That's funny, so.
That's funny. But the thing is, like with this show is, we like to get. We don't talk about that. We don't put people in the hot seat. We don't ask them the same questions that every other interviewer asks them because we want to get to know who's like the real Jacob, right? If you were on a hot seat and people were asking you the questions about your business, they would never get to know about, hey, you're a big hunter, you're a knife guy, you're a gun guy, like you're a musician, right? You're going to be the next Hans Zimmer. Like, they don't hear that stuff.
Yeah.
But on this show, we just relax. Just let's smoke. Let's go off the rails. Let's go.
As we used to say, we spark it up, we talk it out, and we burn it
It's
down.
on the thing. But anyway,
What
okay.
changed it? Why don't you say that anymore?
Kind of just. I don't know, kind of just.
All right, so let's
Kinda
get
forgot
this back.
about it.
So you were going to be the next Hans Zimmer. You wanted to be, and then you were starting to do like some shows here and there.
Yeah,
You were
release
getting
my
into
own
your
song.
your YouTube. You were doing the reaction videos, and the question that I was going to ask before we got down this tangent was, so you're doing the YouTube, right? You're posting these reaction videos, and it's kind of starting to take off.
Yeah.
But you said that you removed the reaction. You stopped doing reaction. Let's call it reaction videos because you didn't want to be labeled as a reaction guy.
Yep.
Were you at the point where you were monetizing and making some money, and then you decided, hey, I'm going to pull back and potentially lose some money because that's not.
I lost a lot. I mean, I was close to making 6 figures a year from YouTube.
And you pulled back.
Yeah, because it's not what I wanted to do.
Wow. Okay. So tell us this road because that's a big step.
Yeah, man. It was.
That's like quitting a job.
It sucked.
Well,
that's the thing is, what was crazy is it became a job, and so one of the things that I've commented on my YouTube a lot is like this weird transition of when you do YouTube and it's not making you any money, and all of a sudden you make it your full-time job. The views start to matter a lot more than they did before, and you have this decision to make. It's like, am I going to do what I want to? If you're not doing totally what you enjoy, am I going to do what's going to get views or make money, and make money, or what I enjoy?
Yeah.
And the reactions made a lot of money, and
that's
got a lot of views.
But you didn't
algorithm.
But I didn't totally enjoy it, and it's not what I wanted to do.
And
my
the
music,
algorithm can kind of, the algorithm almost like different channels. Like let's say you have 3 different channels, and they're all about, let's call it music, right? They're all about music. Okay, you could have, depending on the algorithm and depending on how the videos interact or how the people interact with the videos and how YouTube finds your pathway, you could be, hey, 3 channels all about music performance, but one channel could just post a reaction video, and the algorithm for that channel pops off on the reaction. So now they become reaction videos. Or you could be posting music, and you could be teaching people how to make piano, and all of a sudden you put one video on how to teach piano, and that happens to go viral and finds a way in the algorithm. So you can have the algorithm almost. It's not even so much you putting out what you want and then it goes viral. It's the algorithm telling you what you should put out, and then you have to go down that path if you want to make money.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what's tough because, like, there's one group that I follow that I'm a golfer, and their channel's called Bob Does Sports. And when they first started, it was this guy Bob and his partner Joe, and they were just going to do Bob Does Sports. They were going to do all different sports stuff.
Sure.
And they were just going to do videos of just doing drinking and doing stupid sports stuff, all different sports. But they posted a golf video, and their channel just happened to pop off on the golf.
Yeah.
So then he posted another golf video, and another golf video.
Exactly
And
what
now
happens.
all he does is golf videos. He's like, but that's not what my intention was. My intention was all sports. But now it just so happened that the golf ones went viral, so YouTube forced my hand to now become a golfer. So it's like, in your case, YouTube was forcing your hand to be a reaction guy, and you were going to make some money off it. You were making money, but you're like,
a lot of money.
I don't want to do that. That's not who I want to be.
Well, the crazy thing is, my friends used to make fun of me for having YouTube and all this stuff and making YouTube videos. Hi, my name is Jacob Restituto. Welcome back to the channel. They used to make fun of me, and all of a sudden I started making more money than them. And they were like, oh, wow.
Bro, teach me.
Yeah, like, yeah, exactly.
Whoa, bro! Congrats on your success.
Yo,
on your
bro,
YouTube channel. That's so awesome, bro.
I always knew you could do it, man. I always knew it.
Oh, gosh, don't even get started. Yeah. But that's the crazy thing, though, is like it really, really took off, and I was making a good amount of. I'm always look. I'm not like a Mr. Beast. I was making $50 million a year.
No, but making 6 figures off of YouTube is good.
Yeah,
good.
man. Like there were months.
Bro, that's like top 1% regardless.
That's really good.
I think if I remember that correctly, I think there's only 1% of channels I think even have over 10,000 subscribers. So to have like 150 was like it was like, wow, this is pretty cool, man.
You were now considered a YouTuber.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Like you are a YouTuber.
But to say that though is it became a job where I was like, oh, I got to go film videos today. Like I didn't want to because it's not what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I didn't want to make reaction. I wanted to make my music.
Yeah, I got to go make another reaction video.
Because I had to pay because my mortgage was on the line. Like not like I wasn't going to be able to but like if I stopped making reaction videos, like I stopped making money, and like that was my source of income. My
you did. You made the decision to stop.
So what happened?
So what happened?
So,
So
when
it was
you
a very
woke up,
slow
you woke
trick-
up one day, you're like, I'm stopping.
It was a
doing
very
this.
slow. Well, it was a back and forth a couple of times in the sense of like I stopped, and then I started, and then I stopped, and then I started, and then I stopped, and it just it trickled down very slowly. Where like it was. I was getting $5,000 checks from YouTube, and that was just YouTube by itself. And then I had Patreon, and then sponsors, and I was making $8,000 or $9,000 a month, which is again not crazy money, but from YouTube, like that's some sweet money,
Dude, that's top.
Yeah,
That's
it was.
top of shit.
Hell yeah.
I'm not. Yeah,
Anybody would love to make that amount of money.
agreed. But I also want to, with the caveat, like I wasn't like some people assume you have 100,000 subscribers, you're making
millions.
Millions. No, I wasn't making millions, but I was making a living. And then it's trickled down, so it was 5,000, then it was 3,000, or no, probably slower. It was like I think my highest number from just YouTube alone was like 4,100, and my friends were like, "How are you making 40?" I was like, "Well, I post a lot, man. I post 4 or 5 times a day because it was so easy. Because I'm a business guy, and I was like, how can I what's the word? Streamline this. I got it down to my studio. I have 4 buttons I press. Everything's connected to these automated switches where I press the button. They're all remote controlled. All the outlets turn on with the remote control. Press these 4 buttons, and I plug my laptop in, which is synced to my Mac computer, and then I can record. So I was able to, and I didn't edit my videos because I got so good at the GIF of gab that I could just talk, and then it would be press start, 9 minutes later press stop, upload.
And some people like it too because it's more natural.
Exactly. There's no
Like,
editing.
we have an editor for ours, but we don't cut anything. It's from the moment we hit record all the way to
Which
the
makes
end.
the editing easier. So I used to post the video. So there would be like, are you familiar with the YouTube Premiere?
Yeah.
Like how that works. So like,
Yep.
videos used to premiere, and like 7 minutes later, my reaction would be there, and people were like, how in the world did you forget this? Because I just recorded it when it was premiering, and then I uploaded it, and it worked, and I could pump videos out like that's why I have so many videos. And that's why I could make so much money from it, because my friends would be stuck there editing and changing this, and I just had it all streamlined. And I had my computer set up and my professional camera and all this, and the quality was great. And I was cranking out these videos, and so it slowly trickled down 3,000, 2,500, 2,300, and
Is
over.
that because YouTube was paying you less, or you were just doing less?
No, I was doing less reaction videos, but I have a residual income. I haven't done a reaction video in over like in a long time, and
You still get a check for $500.
yeah, a couple $100. Yeah, every month, regardless, a couple $100.
Sweet.
People are still watching the videos, which is cool. And then now I still do make videos, so I still have sponsors that I'm now making videos for, and like incorporating them into like music production stuff. And so I made the transition, and it came to the point where it's like, all right, I'm not making enough money to like like this, I need to make a change because like I'm not making any money at this point. And my wife's a nurse, and the end goal would be I'd love for her to be a stay-at-home mom. She'd love to be a stay-at-home mom, but like that's just not the reality at the moment. And I always had said like if my self-employment was not making enough money, I'd go out and get a job. And this came to it like about a year ago. I was not making enough money, and it was the first time ever in my decade of career where I wasn't able to make payroll for myself, where I wasn't able to pay myself for my business, for my wife and our stuff. And thankfully we had reserves and stuff, but it was like, okay, I can't pay myself this month. And then it happened, and I said, look, I want to let you know, and it was a tough conversation to have. I can't pay us this month. If this happens again next month, things will change. And so it happened again next month, and I was like, okay. So I went out and started looking for a job, and I was like, I'm not qualified for anything. Like I'm a college dropout. At this time I was 28, 29 years old. I'm 30 now. I'm gonna get a job for $20 an hour and like work full time, which I can't because I have a kid, and because I'm self-employed and my wife's a nurse. She works 3 days a week, and the days she works, I watch our kid. And like I'm part-time dad. I can't go and work full-time, and even if I did work full-time, $20 an hour is
not going to cover the daycare.
It's not going to pay my bills.
Yeah.
It's like it doesn't. So I started freaking out, and then I had the realization like I've had this part-time photo video career, my whole music career, because I couldn't afford a photographer, videographer when I first started out. So I started filming everything myself, and people were like, "Wow, this is really who filmed this for you?" I was like, "I did," and they were like, "Can you film my stuff?" So when I first started out, this career started like as a side gig. This is just a little side hustle. Hey, can you film my stuff? I did a client work here and there. And about a year ago, I made that my full-time gig. It was a really hard decision because it's not what I want to do, but it was what I had to do for my family. So then I was like, you know what? This is the time for the business podcast, because it had been a brainchild for years. And I was like, now I have the time. And I actually used it as an opportunity. I was like, this is my idea. Rather than me calling, hey, whatever, so-and-so company, are you looking for a photographer, videographer? I instead say, hey, because it's a cold call, and they say no. I say, hey, I run New York's Business Podcast. I'd love to have you on, I guess, and hear your story. Then from that, after we have a 45-minute conversation, they get to know me. I say, hey, by the way, I run a photo video company. Like, if you ever need any product done, like,
so you're using the podcast as almost like a marketing.
Exactly. It's a significantly warmer conversation, and almost they feel like they owe me because I gave them the platform.
Yeah.
And now they're like, wow, and New York's Business, the name holds a lot of weight. Yeah. It's a smaller podcast at the moment, but I think it'll be something one day. But
when did you start that show?
Officially in October.
Oh yeah, so
and you have
like
a lot of
super
guests,
ass.
and like I said, the clips and at least the video is very clear. It's very sharp. It looks extremely professional.
Well, it's the decade long of my side gig that became my full time gig.
Yeah.
So then it's funny how things change though, because now I'm like, I'm not using it for leads at all anymore. I think this podcast could be something. And so now I'm really pursuing. It's not making any money at the moment, but I really can see. I see the opportunity for the podcast to really.
It will eventually.
Yeah, and I think that's the road that I want to take. Like, instead of using it to get video clients, use this as the platform for like. This is what's gonna make money.
Yeah, I mean you'll get it with. It's difficult because with podcasts, you get a lot of revenue from sponsorships, right? Like if you look at Joe Rogan's show.
Yep.
Okay, now Joe Rogan is kind of, I don't want to say that he's the exception, but he's on a grander scale where he signed a deal with Spotify, so he gets paid from Spotify for his show to be on there. But he also gets revenue, right? He does Roca, he does Athletic Greens, he does ZipRecruiter. All these people pay him because he's got a huge following. It's just like Instagram. You think of it, it's a social
influencer marketing.
It's a social platform, right? If you have a big Instagram account, and people know that when you post something, you'll get all this interaction. People can advertise with you. They say, "Hey, I like your vibe. Let's say you're a fashion icon, and everybody likes what you post, and they follow you and they interact with you." Then you can have some guy who, GQ or Men's Warehouse says, "Hey," or Indochino says, "Hey, I'm gonna make you a suit, and I'm gonna pay you $10,000 to post for the next month, and because I know that I'm going to get 1 million eyeballs."
Yeah.
Same thing with podcasts, is people know, hey, you're getting 10,000 listeners every single episode. So for the course of a month, you're going to get 40,000, maybe 50,000 listeners. I want to sponsor you. I want to sponsor a whiskey. Hey, can you talk about my whiskey? And you put that ad, and then you make your money. So that's kind of how you'll most likely make the money on the show.
Yeah. So right now the long form is not there. so this is my industry. Like I did this for years on YouTube. Like I have sponsors on YouTube that I make videos and I've done contracts with, and the long form's not there to justify yet. I think at one point it will be, but right now it's not.
You're only 6 months in.
Yeah. So
How long are your interviews or episodes?
about 45 minutes.
Oh, okay. That's still
good.
That's
That's
still
a good
considered long form.
But I'm saying the long form viewership. Is
Oh,
not there.
okay. Here.
It'll get there though,
Yeah, agreed.
because
Yeah,
like I
agree.
said, it takes. I mean, we've been doing this for 6 years.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, that's amazing.
and I mean, we're not where we wanted to be, right? But we are.
Man.
It's okay. We're not
I'm
where.
talking too much.
The Justin effect.
I'm talking.
The Justin effect. Hey, buddy.
So we're not
Okay,
exactly
I'll let
where
him a
like
sec.
we
I'll
want to
let him a
be,
sec.
but
That's what I'm gonna call it. When your cigar goes out, we call that the Justin effect.
we are where we are, and we're grateful for where we are. There's still a long.
But we're
road
very
to go.
passionate about it. You know, if we make money up for the podcast, cool, right? But we love having a guest in here, listening to their story,
Yeah.
smoking a cigar, getting to know them, and then
Well, it changes
'Cause
the
we-
dynamic once you start to make money because in the view, like I was saying before, the view count really, you start to question: should I have this guest? Should I not have this guest? Because
But you know what? We don't even, like to Eric's point, we don't do this to make money.
Yeah.
We do this because we love to do
we
it.
started it just because we were just like, let's just start it
Yeah.
and just see where it goes.
Yeah.
Honestly, the cigars is what is the revenue driver for us,
And events,
and
right? Because
everything we do.
with cigars and with the show,
Are you guys selling a good amount of cigars?
yes.
That's so cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we just got a check in the mail for like $2,500.
That's
Yeah.
sweet,
So
man.
it's but
So just a quick question about that. You're obviously not growing tobacco making. Would you like go and taste different blends and stuff, or how
Yeah,
did
that's
that
what
work?
Yeah,
I mean, that's
so-
what we had to start to do. I mean,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
blueprint, we had three different iterations, and 5 different samples. The 2 iterations were 5 samples each. Each sample had 5 cigars each. So Justin and I almost smoked
it was
over 30 cigars.
yeah, it was
sampling.
It was 13 different blends.
Yeah.
So the first round, we had 5 different blends, 5 cigars each.
Mm-hmm.
And Eric and I smoked each blend twice.
Hmm.
Then we had another set of 5 different blends, 5 cigars each.
We had an idea of what we wanted the cigar to be. The first round, we said we like this one the best. So we told our blender, our partner, saying, "Hey, we want to get these flavors. We want this." He said, "All right, before you do that, I'm gonna send you a whole nother round of blends to try." We did, and then that second round, we liked one cigar a little bit more. And we said, "All right, we want to use this basis, but we want to add this, this, and this." So then our blender and our partner said, "All right, I'm gonna take this cigar, and I'm gonna put in what I think will fit what you guys want."
Mhm.
And the third round,
Wow.
we got exactly what it is. Justin and I took a couple puffs. We said, "This is it, bro.
Yeah.
This is."
We
this
got
is the
like a
one."
third of the way through. We're like, we
This is
looked
the
at each
one.
other. We go, this is it.
So can I tell you my slight conspiracy theory about tobacco?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Always love a good conspiracy
We
theory.
really like this.
So
Come on, let's put our
I'm-
tinfoil
I'm-
caps on, man.
Yeah.
I'm a thinker. I
No,
like to
really?
think, right? I like to think and ponder. You joke with any of my friends that like I ask so many questions because I like to learn and think, and I mull around things and just I'm digging in my garden and I'm just thinking, and I have this theory that actual tobacco is not bad for you, but it's
It's not.
all the
It's not a
insane
theory.
things that but you compare it to like New York state law. Yeah, it is terrible for you. But now I'm a big history guy too. I mean, I have 1776 tattooed on my arm. I love history.
Nice.
America.
Yeah, come on, man.
Yeah.
So
Fucking American flag. hanging up in the-
exactly. So
Why do you think our cigars are red and blue?
Oh, I like that. I didn't realize that. I thought it was.
I think that was.
I thought it was blood and crip. No, I'm just kidding.
blah blah blah. Oh no, what is that?
No.
That's
Red and blue, man.
No blood.
America.
No blood. The gang sign is so woo. That's what you
Yeah.
say.
What are you, a Lil Wayne fan?
No, well, I grew up in a lot of hip hop. Yes.
Me too, man.
But
You're probably 30, right? Like.
I'm 33.
Yeah, so the Lil
So you-
Wayne,
okay.
the Birdman kind of
Oh,
thing.
forget
Yeah.
it. Forget
Birdman.
it. Yeah.
So, yeah. So,
But the blue and the red, that was just blue. Blue just obviously came from the blueprint, and then red is my favorite color. and we went with red.
Red
we
is my favorite color.
We thought red would look good on a Connecticut wrapper, and then the next one is going to be P for BDP, Burn Down Podcast.
Oh, nice.
We don't know what that one's going to be yet, but maybe we're thinking black.
Purple.
We were thinking black, but then somebody said you should go white because then it's red, white, and blue.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And it's very American.
And the
We're
white
like,
would look good on a wrapper.
And
That
we're
look
like,
really nice on a wrapper.
Yes.
You know what? Maybe we
We
do
like
that.
the white. We like the white with the gold.
The only
that would
problem,
look really nice.
the only caveat, and Eric knows exactly where I'm going with this,
Yeah. Exactly.
is white and gold does not photo well. So Davidoff Cigars is where it first. So when we first started doing Instagram, like I said, I was doing reviews. I would smoke a cigar, take a picture of it, put my review. Eric was doing a little bit more just the art,
aesthetic.
like the aesthetic, like he would place it,
Yeah.
and he would take nice, clean pictures. We both found that the Davidoff cigars wouldn't photo well because the white and the gold would reflect too much light and you couldn't get a clear enough picture of it. The ones that were a little bit more darker had a really good contrast and you get a nice picture of it. So the only caveat to if we went with a white label is we'd have to make sure that it photos well. If we went with black, then it would be much better.
Of course, yeah.
But so your theory is that tobacco is itself is
well,
not
you
bad
just look
for
through history. So I started growing my own tobacco, and
All right, here we go. Nick, make this a clip.
I was gonna say, well, we're gonna put a pin in that conversation because I have an idea of you growing tobacco. I have an idea.
Well, my idea already started when I saw your cigar roller.
So let's put the pin in that. We'll come back to that conversation, but I want to hear about the history of.
So
tobacco.
I started growing my own tobacco, and I just started thinking. I was like, man, like you look through history, and people. I'm a big World War II not fan. You say it's weird. History buff, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah,
a fan of
definitely.
World War
My
II.
grandfather fought in World War II.
Man, I have such an admiration for that. It's
My
just
grandfather,
remarkable.
my grandfather fought in World War II, but he fought on the other side. He was German.
German. Whoa, you don't hear that too often anymore.
He was forced to fight.
That's
Right?
wild.
And then my grandmother was put into a work camp, like a forced labor camp.
As a German.
So he was.
Or was she Jewish? Oh,
he
she's
was Polish. He was Polish. She was Czechoslovakian, and then after the war, now it's all Germany. Okay, and she was in a working.
Wow,
he
that's
was,
great.
and then
Are they still alive?
They are not alive. And actually, I just told the story to my wife. And my dad knows a little bit more about the details. But my grandfather, I was just telling my wife the story. My grandfather actually got shot in the armpit, right here. And the only reason he got shot in the armpit was because he tripped into a foxhole. So he fell into either it was a trench or a fox, but he was at the front lines and they were shooting, and he was running, stepping backwards, and he stepped into a hole and he fell. And when he fell, the bullet went through here. But if he didn't fall, he would have gotten shot right in the chest.
Wow.
But he fell back like this, and he got shot in the armpit. And if he didn't fall in that hole, none of us would have been born.
Wow.
I've never. That's the first time I ever heard that story.
Why?
That is a wild.
Yeah, it is
Wild story. And he had the bullet, little circle right here, right in the armpit, in and out.
Damn.
You know, I don't know, man. And those guys, they were just men's men, and I just admire that. And
He was forced to. It was
Yeah.
it's like the draft. It's like you have no choice. You're able and willing male. You have to fight.
an able male,
Yeah, he was like you have to fight.
not necessarily willing male, but
No,
Yeah.
well, take that back. Able
Able body.
bodied.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
fighting.
Yeah.
Like you don't have a choice.
yeah. So I you look at that though. Just go back to World War II. So the rations were 6 cigarettes a day, 2 cigars a day, or a pouch of tobacco a week, and they smoked like crazy. And all through history they smoked like crazy, and people never got cancer. And granted, they weren't living to 80, 90 years old.
You know why?
Well, I'm assuming it's all of the additives.
Well, the reason is tobacco itself. Okay, now I know we're probably gonna get dinged for this, but the tobacco itself.
Already dinged, so whatever.
Because he played Interstellar.
I know, right? The tobacco itself.
Unbelievable.
Now we'll send you articles about it. We'll send you research articles from the FDA and research articles from these health organizations and .org and .edu and all this stuff. The tobacco itself is not what's harmful. And the reason why these people way back in the day were smoking all these things and they'd be totally fine is because they were rolling their own, and it was just tobacco.
Yeah.
They would just put tobacco
Agreed.
in there.
Sure.
There was no filter. There was no additives. But if you look at the cigarettes now,
Sure.
do you know that cigarettes are less than 5% tobacco?
I did not know that. That's wild.
95% of a cigarette is all added chemicals. added nicotine, added like arsenic, which is poison, added
Yeah,
paint
so many
thinner,
things.
Carcinogens.
Yeah.
all of these things that are bad for you that make it addictive and that make it harmful. That's what's causing cancer. That's what's killing you.
Yeah.
But the tobacco itself, this is 100% tobacco, 100% organic.
So-
The only thing that's
Well-
added in here is vegetable glue, which holds the label together. But you take the label off, you don't smoke it.
And the cap.
The cap is all tobacco.
No, but they use vegetable glue.
They use a
to
little bit of
stick it.
vegetable glue to hold the cap.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
So my
Sometimes you
only
can just hold it
concern
with water.
with this, and I'm a big cigar smoker, so like I'm not even knocking it, but this is better than a cigarette. I've never smoked a cigarette in my life, and I never plan to because I know that'll kill you.
Plus, it smells like ass.
I like the cigarette smell, to be honest with you.
You do?
Yeah, I
The-
do.
The lingering cigarette smell smells like ass.
I guess.
Smells
My
like
only
casino to me.
my only
I just think cha-ching, cha-ching.
my only concern with like even like regular cigars is what they're spraying. I don't know what they're spraying. So they could be spraying some like pesticide.
You can't.
Why can't you?
You can't spray. There's tobacco beetles in. So they don't. That's one of the things is they don't use pesticides.
See, I don't know about this. So tell me about this.
So they don't use pesticides because of the fact that you are smoking it and you can't smoke pesticides.
See, I find that capitalism typically trumps, and they'd rather not lose a crop. I don't have it. This is not research based. This is just theory based. They'd rather not lose a crop, so they'd rather spray it to at least save the crop, and then, make the money on it.
Well, one of the things that you can get is what's called tobacco beetles. So tobacco beetles are it's a bug,
Yeah.
a bug,
A pest,
that,
yeah.
a pest that will get into tobacco plants. Now, the eggs are harmless.
Yeah.
They're harmless, and when you harvest them, when you smoke them, it's harmless,
Yeah.
right? You might be smoking a cigar that has it's harmless, but if you don't properly care for your cigars, and if you keep your cigar is supposed to be kept in a I don't want to say cool, but it's supposed to be kept at the right temperature and the right humidity, between 65 and 75% humidity and 65 and 75
Yep.
degrees. Now, the temperature, if it's too cold, it just slows down the aging process. It's not going to harm the cigars. If it's too hot, now you have a hot climate and you have a humid climate because technically 70% is humid. If it's 70% humidity outside, it's humid. So if you're too hot, now you have a hot and humid climate, which is what? An incubator.
Yeah.
So if you have your cigars that are too hot, you keep them in a place that's too warm, there's potential that those eggs will hatch. And then
That's
you have
wild.
a
I
tobacco
didn't know that.
beetle that can ruin all your cigars. They eat
There's
their
like
way
little
out.
holes. Yeah, there's little hole. You'll see
You'll
little
have
holes
holes.
in your
Really,
cigar.
I didn't know about that.
Right?
I knew
Now-
about them ruining a crop
Yeah.
because I had doing my
I'll
own
show.
research in growing tobacco. I had known that they would ruin a crop, and you have to look for them, and you can actually, if I understand, I don't know if it's a beetle or there's a tobacco worm too that'll actually eat through the holes in your crop.
So it looks like this. See these little holes?
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah. I've actually had it happen to me before.
Really?
Yeah, I have a
In the airport.
in the airport. So I have my travel case, and I was coming back from a trip. I had all my cigars in there, and we had a delay. So we went to the lounge, and we were just sitting at the window, just doing some work, having a drink, and I had my cigars right here. And I was just doing work for like an hour, and then I looked over my cigars, and the sun was like beaming on the cigars, and it popped in my head and said, "Oh shit!" And I opened up the cigars, and I had a little gauge in there that would tell me the humidity and the temperature, and it was at like 90 degrees. And I was like, fuck. So I opened them up, and I took some of the cigars out, and one of them had a little beetle. Like, it was in the cellophane, but the beetle was inside the
You saw the beetle?
Yeah.
That's gnarly.
I had to throw out all the cigars. It was like $300 worth of cigars.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
So, now...
Now,
again,
have you ever heard of natural tobacco helping slow the process for Tourette's,
Yeah.
for leukemia, not leukemia. I always forget.
Alzheimer's.
Alzheimer's, yes.
Yeah, nicotine, technically.
Yeah, natural. Did I say natural?
You said tobacco.
Natural, yeah, natural nicotine. I was meant to say.
So then you get into my conspiracy theory of like the government now wanting to push prescription drugs. So then why would what competes with like prescription drugs is like a natural remedy. So if you have a natural remedy that ADHD or Alzheimer's or all this stuff that helps you focus, or why would we then? Let's ban this and let's this reoccurring revenue of
And cigars, premium cigars get lumped in. The FDA has a category, tobacco. and they want to tax all tobacco at one rate. So they include cigarettes, they include premium cigars, hand-rolled cigars, vape. And the PCA, the Cigar Rights of America, there's all these organizations for cigars that have been fighting the federal government about taxing cigars less because it's its own category as opposed to their categorization of tobacco.
Yeah.
And Justin knows the number every single time. But the amount of revenue that is brought from, that is made
remarkable, yeah.
from tobacco, majority, 99.999999% is from mainly cigarette sales. Premium cigar sales is 0.1%.
No, it's less
Less
than
than
0.5%.
That's a half
So
a
Is that
99
federally or
99.5% of all tobacco revenue is from cigarettes. Less than 0.5%, less than that. It's like 0.4 and change, is from premium cigars. Yet they want to group premium cigars with cigarettes.
Well,
it's
there
not
are
the same.
actual studies out there, and I read them about people that smoke 1 to 2 cigars a day has no actual
nil
health
to your,
effect.
the title is 1 to 2 cigars a day is nil to your health.
Nil to your
health.
FDA.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
1
exactly.
to 2 a day.
2014.
1 to 2 a day.
Yeah, that's
Now-
a lot. That's a lot of cigars.
1 to 2 a day. Now, if you're smoking like once a week, a couple times a week,
I'm probably about 2 a week.
yeah. Like people always ask us, "How do you smoke every single day?" I said, "No, I don't smoke every single day." I said, "If you were to average it out, it might average to 1 a day, maybe." For example, this week, okay, it's Wednesday, okay. We might smoke 2 today, maybe, because we're getting down here. I might light up another one, depending on where this podcast goes.
Where are we at?
Hour and a half. Damn. We might smoke 2, all right? Tomorrow, I'm not going to smoke. Friday, I might smoke 1 in the evening. Saturday, I might smoke 1. Sunday, I might smoke 1. Monday, I'm not going to smoke. Tuesday, I'm not going to smoke. We're back to Wednesday. So if I have 2 on Wednesday, 1 on Friday, 1 on Saturday, 1 on Sunday, that's 5 in a week.
Yeah,
That's less than 1 a day.
yeah.
Sometimes I might smoke 2 today, maybe 1 on Saturday, and that's it. So I might have 3 in a week. So it's like, I would say if it long term, like if it averages out, it's a little bit less than 1 a day, if that. Now, sometimes in the summer, I might be in a pool, I might smoke 3.
Dude, you think about the fact that these people that were smoking non-stop. It just doesn't logically make sense.
Yeah,
so
I know.
I have again,
Avo Uvasian, who was, may he rest in peace, was the owner of Avo Cigars, AVO. I don't know
Okay.
if you've
Oh
ever
yeah,
had
yeah,
them.
yeah, yeah.
They
I
make
haven't, but I know them.
They make a cigar called the Ritmo, which is 7 different.
Part Spanish.
Nope. All German. The German
Yeah, I
missile.
know. I have a knack for tongues for like the
Yeah.
Oh, you got a knack for that? I didn't know that. That's new.
it's called the Ritmo, and it's got 7 different countries in it. And
Wow.
so he smoked, like he was the owner. He smoked like 10 a day.
Yeah.
Lived to be 92.
Yeah.
Look at all these other. What's the guy? George Carlin.
Yes, the comedian.
He smoked like 10 a day. He lived to be almost.
Oh
100,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know.
My grandma has. So again, being a history guy, I like to ask questions and stuff. I asked my grandma, I was like, "What was the tobacco situation when you growing up?" She's like, "Everybody smoked." And I said, and she said, and she used to smoke. She stopped smoking. She was a cigarette smoker. And I said, like, she's like, "Yeah, I was in the after I delivered your father, my dad." This was my dad's born in '67.
She lit up a cigarette.
No, yes and no. So they
Like
would. Well, I don't think they were in the delivery room, but in the recovery room, they would at night. They would take away the flowers from the recovery room because they were concerned about the oxygen levels, and they would give you back your pack of cigarettes.
Give me a goddamn cigarette.
So she was breastfeeding my dad with a cigarette hanging out of her mouth, and I'm like,
hell yeah.
you know, you just think about like my dad's almost 60,
toughens you up.
and he stopped smoking cigarettes, but like you know, like it just doesn't logically
And the
make
thing,
sense.
and the thing too is I go back to the cigarettes that they were smoking are not like the cigarettes that they're doing.
So that's
the
why I started growing my
hand-rolled
own
ones where
stuff.
It's basically a cigar, just
I
a
agree.
mini one.
Yeah.
Like it's tobacco.
It's just non-aged cigar.
It's just so that's why. And the other thing too with cigars is you don't inhale them.
Yeah.
You just bring it into your mouth, and if you retrohale, okay, it goes in the back of the throat. But there's a lot of studies that show that cigars are actually they help reduce your stress, and stress is
Stress kills you more.
okay. Now
The main driver.
I
for
say
death.
stress is like the leading cause of death, and people are like, no, it's heart disease. I said, yeah, well, what causes heart disease? Stress. What causes strokes? Stress.
Yeah.
What causes brain aneurysm? Stress.
And you know
what
what? We're
causes
all
high
gonna die
cholesterol?
someday.
Stress.
We're all gonna die someday.
So stress relief, which is why they say like eating proper foods reduces your cortisol levels. Exercising reduces your cortisol levels. Smoking cigars reduces your cortisol levels. There's also studies that show that cigars help prevent Parkinson's disease. They also show
that was the other one, Parkinson's.
there's a lot, and there's a lot. Cigars are a mood booster. They help increase your testosterone.
Is that I've heard Tucker
accurate.
Carlson talk about
It's
that?
accurate.
Is it actually true?
It's accurate. It does it.
No,
Okay.
there is scientific studies.
I haven't
that-
actually gotten
Cigars
down that road
actually help with your cognitive health, your
heard
cognitive
about that,
function.
yeah.
They help with memory, with brain function. All these things are from cigars.
He's
Now-
talking about Tucker Carlson's talking about Zins. Yeah.
Well, now
Now,
Alps,
here's the thing. Now it
Oh,
doesn't.
Alps, that's what it is.
well, because he had this whole he was a Zyn user like crazy, and then Zyn sent him to cease and desist because he started making claims about it being testosterone booster. So he's like, screw this, I'm not screwing with these guys anymore. He created his own company called Alps, so now he has the Alps.
I didn't realize that. Oh, it's
so-
hilarious.
So, but like I said, but then they get roped into the cigarettes, and the cigarettes nowadays are less than 5% tobacco.
I didn't know that's crazy.
And the tobacco that they're
Yeah.
using is not premium tobacco.
I wouldn't even say there's tobacco in cigarettes. It is
Pencil
so
shavings.
it's
You ever
so
go to- remember-
doused in.
Remember back in
Chemicals.
elementary school when you used to go to the pencil sharpener? And shit?
Yeah.
That's what they would do. They take that, like, I can use this, put it in.
Yeah, it's crazy.
100%.
So anyway, all right, let's get back to. Okay, so you did your music thing.
So hold on, before we even do that, where we rolling? Where we heading with this? Because I want to shoot my wife a text, just being like, how we hanging.
It's up to you, dude.
I'm down to hang forever. I'm just
Where we at?
We're at an hour and a half right now. 1 hour and 30.
I'd take another 15 minutes or so. So I have an hour drive back.
It's 7:15. You'll be out of here by 8. No problem.
Yeah.
Unless you want to stay for dinner. My wife's cooking dinner. So
let me just shoot her a text.
Yeah,
you'll be out of here by 8. You'll probably be home. You're what, 20 minutes away?
Yeah, 20, 30 minutes away.
So latest 8:30 you'll be home.
No, I don't mind. I just want to shoot her a text.
Communication is key.
Yeah.
You learn, man. 15 years. He teaches you a couple lessons.
Shit, I'm still learning, bro.
You got to communicate.
I'm
man.
still learning too, man.
Communicate.
I texted my buddy.
I'm still fucking, bro.
I texted my buddy today. I'm like, dude, sometimes I'm a smart guy, but sometimes I'm such a fool. Some of the things that come out of my mouth with the
Right.
Sometimes there's no filter. It just fucking comes out.
Bro.
But-
It's an ongoing process.
No, so I wanna get back to. Okay, so we talked about how what you wanted to be a musician, right? You go to school, and you go into this YouTube thing.
Yep.
You quit the YouTube, and now you're like, all right, I got looking for a job, can't find a job. Start doing this videography and photo stuff. Then you say, I'm going to launch this business podcast, right?
Let me answer it real quick. When you were looking for a job, you said your dad owns a construction business. You ever
Yes.
thought about working with your dad?
At this point, I did it when I was a kid, and I joked with him. I was like, Dad,
I hate it.
I'm a white collar guy.
I want to be behind a
I was
computer.
12 years
what
old.
does your dad do? Like,
He builds houses.
oh, he's residential.
But does,
builder.
Yeah.
does he built like around here?
Yeah, Long Island based. Yeah.
Is he thinking about like, can he do like upstate?
Yeah, he could. Is this a loaded question?
No,
Justin
it's not
wants to live
local.
upstate. And
My wife and I are eventually going to move upstate.
Cool, man.
We were thinking about maybe
Why
building.
upstate and why not out of state?
Okay, so we want to.
Nice question.
It's a good question. We want to. So for my job,
Or why not a second home out of state?
yes,
Because that's my goal.
yes.
I love Long Island. I love you're close to all. You get all four seasons. You're close to the water. You have the Hamptons. You have the city. You have everything.
So we don't like
I don't
the city.
like New York City. I don't like New York laws, particularly, and I don't like the politics in New York. However, I love New York.
so that's the thing with us is.
Yeah.
So we don't.
So I would want land though.
Okay,
to say,
yeah.
and
So that's the thing with us is we want to. So we want a place in the mountains in the Northeast because we like upstate New York. We like the mountains. We like the land. We like the trees. We like the lakes. We like that lifestyle. Don't necessarily like the politics. But currently for my job, which, if I'm being honest, I don't foresee myself working at this job for the rest of my life. Right now, I'm doing it until, we get
to means to an end.
until we get other things situated, right? I have great insurance and I get paid well, and we're doing this until, either the podcast, the cigars, maybe a real estate thing, investments, things like that. But we want to have a place in the mountains, right? And then we also want to have a place down south in Texas, and we want to go back and forth. We like Saratoga Springs because of the land, the mountains. You get 4 seasons up here. We love the lake life. The town there is much better. We don't really like city life. I don't like Manhattan. I like the smaller villages, the mountain towns, which is why we love going up to Lake Placid and the Adirondacks. And one of the things is potentially building, because when you break it down, it's really not that much different buying a home at whatever it is, let's say $700,000 to buy a home, or building one that you get literally exactly what you want. So if you're, that's why maybe a discussion for another day. But I'm always keep my ears out of people that are, because we have somebody down south that builds, and now we maybe.
Yeah, my dad's an incredible home builder.
So anyway, okay, so
You didn't like it. You're a white collar guy. You said.
Yeah, I was one
okay.
color
So I wanted to ask about this podcast, this
Yes.
business thing, because this is like the latest
Yes.
venture.
Yep.
Where do you see this going?
I could see this being a really big
Yeah. So
thing.
what are your future plans for this? Where do you want
I
to
could
take
see it
this?
expanding to not only just business, but like politicians. I want it to be business
Tell us
focused.
a little bit about the show.
the
too.
show,
For
it's
people that
called-
haven't watched you, what do you do on the show?
The original slogan, kind of like you mentioned your original slogan, is by business owners for business owners. So, being a business owner can be a lonely journey. You have different problems, different questions than a typical employee would have.
Yeah, the
and-
employee doesn't worry about those things.
Yeah, and that makes it a little hard to relate to other people, in the sense of like your friends who like 9 out of 10 of them are employed by another company, they don't get what you're going through. You know, they can clock out and they're like, okay, yeah, sometimes they take their work home with them a little bit, but it's not. I stopped working, I stopped making money. I don't have any PTO. I had my daughter. I don't have any PTO. You know, I don't have any vacation time. You know, it's just a totally different situation than than an employee. So that being said, I'm always asking. I'm blessed, and I've created opportunities and situations. There's this guy in my church that like is an incredible business owner and like owns buildings and like like made some serious money. So I said, hey, like, can I take you to lunch? Can I just ask you I want to just ask you questions and pick your brain. It turns into this whole thing of like we started meeting weekly. And then a couple other guys started. And there was a couple business owners that just every week would just get together and just chat about business and what's going on, what the problem points are. And then I started this thing in my church called a business owners. We call them connect groups, where it's like connect group is just a smaller gathering after the church. During the
They have
church.
the similar ones for our church. Yeah.
Oh, cool. So I started up the business owners business owners connect group. Same thing. Like you have business, you own a business, you come. Let's just chat. Like, what's going on? What's the problem point? Like, how do you fire somebody? How do you have a conversation with somebody who's not acting appropriately in the workplace? Like,
do you in this connect group, it's the business owners connect group through your church. During your discussions, do you bring up scripture?
It's biblically based. So like,
yeah,
I would essentially start it with like a
like if you're having a problem, you say, "Hey, well, this is
what the Bible
says. What the Bible says
Yeah,
about how you."
I would even start it like here's some biblical points of owning a business, how to handle money, how to handle people, how to handle situations, and then hey, is there anything that's going on? Like, do you want to chat about this? How would you handle this? Like just chat about this. And all that being said is I love talking business. I always treated my music career as a business. I always treated everything. I just love business. And that's why I managed the farm. Because with the farm I was selling vegetables. Like everything.
We got to talk about the farm too.
Everything I do, I just we don't have to whatever you want. I mean, we can talk about whatever, but like everything I do is just business. I love it. I just always see the opportunity, and not even a money opportunity. I just love business. I love talking about marketing and talking about how you can.
Yeah, how can we grow the business? What can we do differently?
How can you customer relations? All this stuff, right? And I just love asking questions. So I said, you know what? Like I saw it again. I love talking to business owners, and I saw it as an opportunity to grow my business. And then it kind of formatted into something else where I'm like, you know what? Screw trying to get clients out of this. Like, I just I could see this becoming the thing, and now I can even see it becoming even further, where it becomes like instead of just necessarily business owners, it becomes a professional platform where we talk business. You don't have to necessarily be the business owner, but I want to hear your story. And I want to hear how you got there, why you got there, what you do differently, what's worked, what hasn't worked, what you can see going forward.
Because you can even think of it like even like I always say that everybody is a salesman.
Sure.
Everybody.
Some people are very bad salesmen. Sure.
But what I mean by that is
very true.
What I mean by that is even if you're not in sales, like you work for a company and you're selling something, everybody is a salesman.
You're selling yourself. You're a
You're
personality.
selling yourself.
Yeah.
When you go into an interview, you are selling yourself to the company.
Yeah.
Right. So everybody does sales. When you have a conversation with your wife and you're trying to negotiate on where you want to go to dinner, You're selling.
Yeah.
When you're trying to convince them to go to the place that you want to go to, you're selling them on your place.
Doctors are the best salespeople.
Like that is.
Don't even get me started.
So to your point it's you don't even have to necessarily own a business, but when you talk to somebody about how did they get to the position that they got in, how did you sell yourself all the way into that position?
Yeah.
Right, and it's the same principles apply.
Yeah.
Whether you're making a business deal for $1 million or you're trying to convince somebody to go to Chili's for dinner. Yeah. Same business tactics and principles and selling tactics can apply.
So bringing it back, though, I could see it being like Mike Tyson isn't necessarily a business owner, but he is. You know, and I could have him you mentioned it before. That's what kind of popped in my head. I could see him coming.
Last one, you see it?
I could
like
see
that?
it's the nub. I'm the nub guy, but
I'm the last dandelion.
Last man standing, baby.
So I could see him coming on the podcast and talk. Like, how did you handle making $50 million a year? How did you manage that money? Who managed that money? Like, how did you had employees under you? How did that work? Like, in all these things, right? I could even see.
Or when you have a tribute, like a test, even like if you're an employee and you come up with a struggle, how did you handle that struggle? Yeah. You came up with this thing that hit you at work, and you also have a family, and you also have this thing. How did you manage that?
Yeah. But I could, even with the idea of like the politicians and how Joe Rogan had all these politicians on this podcast, and I could see it even being something like this. Okay, this is what you want. Like, how does that affect the economy? How does that affect the everyday person? How does it affect the rich people, the poor people? What is that? Your policy? What does that mean? You know, and like I could just see it not necessarily being. So that's why I've shifted it to essentially. I don't know exactly. I guess I got to redo the slogan if I don't remember my own new slogan at this point. But it's essentially like helping. I think it's helping businesses succeed through stories. I think it's a new slogan.
That's good. I like that.
And and that being said, like, well, what's your story? How did you do it?
Because people can relate to that.
I'll do one even better for you. They say the best slogan is 3 words: helping businesses succeed.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah,
like Nike, just do it.
Yeah,
helping businesses succeed.
I'm gonna change my Instagram profile in 2 seconds.
Because I've been trying to think of a slogan for us because Mike, spark it up, talk it out, burn it down. Yeah, it's cool when we first started, but I mean that's freaking long. I've been trying to think of like a 3-worded slogan forever.
Together through cigars.
Could
something like that. I don't know, but I mean our slogan.
Something more. I would want something more.
What about stories through cigars?
Stories through cigars.
Because our slogan right now is bringing people together one cigar at a time.
I like that though. So that's fine though.
That's what our slogan is. Because essentially, that's what we do.
Yeah.
Okay, that's at the heart of everything.
Yep.
That's what we do. Is we bring people together. Now, if you extend it, you bring people together from all different walks of life through a cigar, one cigar at a time. We've had ex-Navy SEALs. We've had mobsters. We've had athletes. We've had singers.
Navy SEAls. There's no ex-Navy SEAls. As we got corrected.
I'm sorry. Navy SEAls.
We said ex-Navy SEAL. Like, there's no ex-Navy SEAls.
We'll say military. Ex-military, right? Right? But or veterans. We've had police. We've had firefighters. Sure. We've had testosterone therapy therapists. We've had all different people on the show, all because they like cigars. And we hear their stories. Mm-hmm. The reason why we do events is because when we do it, we bring people together over a cigar. When we just did a poker event, people were playing poker.
Why wasn't I invited to that, man?
You come to the next one.
Next year in Mamaroneck.
We do a poker event.
It's a charity.
Actually, you got to come to our next event we're doing is at Modern on the Rails.
You would benefit from it.
You would benefit. It's a networking event. You'll meet all these different people.
No. It's a cigar networking event.
It's great. Well, I'll send you all the details
together
afterwards.
Through one cigar at a time.
But that's
I like that slogan. It's not too bad.
But that's the thing.
No, it's great. I want to be able to try and condense it.
Yeah, but we just did this poker event, and all these people are playing poker. There's like 200 people inside playing a big poker tournament. And we set up outside on the patio. We have our booth. We put ashtrays on the tables. We play some music. We string some lights. And we create this lounge environment. And then all the people, after they lose and they come
the losers lounge.
We were calling it the losers lounge because people would lose.
Wait, there's still losers today? I thought it was the participation lounge.
Yeah, no, there's losers. There's a loser.
They would come outside.
Ain't no motherfucking participation.
They would grab a drink. They would come outside. They'd be like, "Oh, you guys have cigars?" We would sell them a cigar. They would sit down. They would listen to the music, and then the outside would be this whole vibe. And then people would see all these people through the window smoking cigars, and they go, "I don't want to fucking play poker anymore." They'd be like, "All in." They would lose. They'd come outside and they'd smoke a cigar.
What's a box go for?
$200.
How many? 20 cigars?
20 cigars in a box. It's $200 MSRP. Depending on where you are, there's taxes. So in New York, there's a 75% wholesale tax. So
Fun.
that
I love New York.
Fun.
So that $200 is going to be now it's 75% of the wholesale. So the wholesale price it'll be $275 for that box. Okay, but if you're in Arizona where our online retailer is, there's no tax. So
And New Hampshire.
It's $200.
Which,
Now,
is,
if you go to
which I
Texas-
think New Hampshire's even a lower.
Yeah. Now in Texas, it's funny because Texas was forced to put a tobacco tax on, and they said, okay, 1 cent. So it's like a penny a cigar. Like you want a tax, here's your tax.
Yeah.
So it's basically nil. But that's the whole idea is that we bring people together over cigar. They come out, we tell them the story, we listen to their story, and then it's the networking. Like, oh, we just talked to some girl at the show, came up, and I was like, it's funny because one of the girls we had on the show, the testosterone replacement therapist, Nicole, Nikki Needles, shout out to her. She met us.
Such a Long Island name. Or Jersey.
She met us
She's
at a
actually
cigar
from
event.
Westchester.
Met us at a cigar
Actually from
event.
Brooklyn, actually.
Just
New York name.
Came right
Nikki
up,
Needles.
right
that
up to the
person's
thing.
not coming from Oklahoma. You
No,
know what I mean?
no.
She came right up to our booth, very forward, was just like, hey, I want to be on your show. I like cigars. Cigars raise testosterone. I'm in the testosterone business. I want to be on your show. We started talking. We're like, all right, cool. Let's get her on the show. Just had the event the other day, the poker event. Some girl came up. She's like, hey, I want to be on your show. I'm a girl. I like cigars. I do this, that, and that. We're like, cool. Send us an email. We might have her on the show. But it's like, it's a great networking environment because people, they love cigars. They come up. We have the Burndown podcast. They come up. They buy a cigar. They go, what's a Burndown podcast? Is this your cigars? We're like, yeah, this is our cigars. We have the video going. We're like, this is our show. And then we start talking to them. If they have a really cool story, really cool background. Hey, I played in the NFL, blah, blah, blah. Bang, let's get them on the show. So Sam, you come to the event, right? You'll meet all these different people.
Did I come on the show?
Yeah, you come on the show.
You already beat the crowd. You're already on the show.
But you can meet all of these people that are enjoying cigars, all of these entrepreneurs, because it's a big business entrepreneur networking event. And you meet all these people, you chit-chat, and like, hey, I have a show. I would love to get you on the show. Get a couple of cards, bang. Now you have 5-6 different people lined up. But it's all over cigars, and that's why we do it. So bringing people together, one cigar.
That's it.
I'm jealous of you guys because I've thought about, like, you know, Joe Rogan has his cigars in his lounge, and, you know, you guys, because I'm like, I got to figure out how to incorporate, like, whiskey or cigars into my show. You know what I mean?
All right, so
Because they're just going to bang you over the head with everything.
All right, speaking of this.
Who's they?
Every social media
Oh,
platform.
my gosh. They hate ATF. They hate alcohol, tobacco, and firearms.
Yeah.
TikTok,
That's
forget
fair.
it, bro.
So here's the thing.
That's fair.
I remember I said we're going to put a pin in this conversation, but I
Yeah.
want to come back to it. So you have a farm.
Mm-hmm.
You manage a farm.
Mm-hmm.
One of the crops is tobacco.
Mm-hmm.
Can we
Mm-hmm.
do some sort of collaboration? Can we sample your tobacco and then potentially put your tobacco into our next cigar if the flavor is all...
I would love that. You know,
What kind of tobacco are you growing?
a couple different types. The three crops the three that I'm the 3.5 that I'm growing this year are it's a Havana 608. I think is that it's a Cuban Criollo and
Nice.
Cuban Criollo, Havana 608, and a Connecticut Shade wrapper.
Nice.
And the third is the Tudo number 1 and Tudo number 2, because they were the tobacco that I grew last year. My Restituto that I grew Tudo tobacco that I grew last year. That I don't know what they were, and I saved the seed and I started growing them again. So they're Mr. Tobacco.
Tudo 1 and Tudo 2.
So here's
I like
the
that.
thing. So here's the thing. We could do a collab with this. Is we can harvest your tobacco, right? After you cure it, after it's dried, whatever. We can send it down to our manufacturer and say, hey, we have some bales of tobacco that we want you to include in the
That'd be
next
cool.
roll.
Yeah.
They roll them, they send them back up to us. We try them, and then we get it into the next blend of the cigar. And now we have a...
So
That'd be sick.
I've always wanted to.
Or we do a limited edition and call
that's cool.
and call a limited edition release with your tobacco. We call it the Tudo.
No, man. So see, I've been thinking about this. So the entrepreneur in me. I'm always. I'm like, one day I want to get into the whiskey industry. That the wine is my introduction to alcohol production, which is my introduction. Like,
Thank you for that, by the way. I'm curious.
you're very welcome
I'm
to. Yeah,
curious.
absolutely.
I love
So,
wine.
It may be terrible. It's my first time making it, so I want an honest review.
I'm
so
still
I can,
gonna send it.
So I can. I want to know.
I'm
so
still
I can
gonna
make
drink
it
it.
better. But that being said, I want to make whiskey one day. That's the goal, and I wanted to get into the tobacco industry. And my name is Jacob Restituto, Jr. I want to call it JR Tobacco, everybody's going to assume it's Jacob Restituto tobacco, but it's actually John Rolfe tobacco, which is the first person to actually successfully grow tobacco in America in the 1600s. And
I
it
would
works
say-
perfectly.
I would say be careful because there is JR Cigars already.
I know it's jrcigars.com, but if you could just call it JR Tobacco, I know. And I've always admired JR Cigars because I'm like, oh, that's my name.
You know what would be
But-
crazy though is if you have a cigar and you call it the JRE. It's the JR edition, but it's Joe Rogan experience. You get sued up to us.
He might actually just bring you on and just be partner.
But
Yeah.
but I
Like, fuck
think,
it, man, that's a good
I
idea.
think you can do two different ways. You can have one where it's we use your tobacco into a limited release,
tobacco, yeah.
and call it like the whatever
Yeah,
the something edition, or the tobacco's good enough and we put it into our next blend, and then you'll be one of the sources because what the cigars is there's tobacco from all different regions.
Sure.
Right,
New
that one's got
world and old
six,
world.
that one's got 6 different countries. It's got 3 different countries, and they bring the tobacco in to Dominican Republic, where the factory is. They roll it, they ship it to Miami. That's the warehouse, and then we distribute from Miami.
That's cool.
So, one of our cigar, we have American cigar tobacco in our cigars. So the next blend, we could say, hey, Jonas, can you include JR Tobacco or Tudo Tobacco, whatever it is? We're gonna ship you down the bales. Use that tobacco, and then if it gets into the cigar, then now you'll be a source of the tobacco,
I like
and
it.
then you have a business, a stream where he's buying it from you, putting in our cigars.
Is this New York's Business Podcast?
Tell you,
Not yet. That's next week.
always thinking, love it.
That's it. That's it, man. That's it. I was. What were we? We gotta be 2 hours.
It's an hour and 51, so we should probably wrap.
Damn. Yeah, I fucking flew.
Told you, shit just flies, man.
Well, for you, definitely flies.
Yeah.
He's still thinking about the mini shells over here.
Yeah, I'm talking about bags, many
She's
shells.
like, I gotta get a fucking shot.
Yeah, I gotta get a safe and a shotgun. Yeah, definitely. But Jacob, to this point of the podcast, we like to give you the red carpet, kind of plug away shamelessly about where people can find you, what you got going on, even though we kind of just talked about it the whole episode, which we wanted. But shamelessly plug where people can find you on social media and in your business that you're coming up with or products that you're selling, and kind of just
I appreciate that. Yeah.
Plug
do the
away,
red carpet.
man.
Yeah, plug
Yeah,
away.
it's just simple. My name's Jacob Restituto. You can find me on all social media and the YouTube is that and New York's Business Podcast. I run and manage Restituto Media, which is my photo and video company. So if they ever need any social media or photo and video work, I do a lot of B2B stuff, so business to business. Like I do a lot of restaurant, spa, gyms, corporate stuff. Like I do a lot of business. I film their stuff and then they send their stuff to the consumer. Like photo and video, but yeah, that's really simple. It's just
Love it.
And then you guys can see us soon on the New York Business Podcast.
Yes,
we'll do a
come
little
on, man.
switcheroo.
a
Yes.
switcheroo.
And where is your studio?
My studio's in Northport.
All right, cool.
Go there.
Not far at all.
And the last thing is I want to shout out this. The whole episode we've been drinking Giggle Water. Okay, this is not a sponsorship, but I do want to mention it. It's Giggle Water. This is from Lake Clear Lodge Speakeasy up in the Adirondacks.
Shout out.
Shout out to them. This is honey flavored whiskey. This is their same recipe that they've been using since the Prohibition days. Okay, it's a family owned recipe. They've been using it for however many years it's been now. And I picked it up when I was up there, and it's actually very, very good.
Yeah, it was
It's good.
enjoyable.
And it's very mildly honey, so it's
Yeah,
enjoyable.
yeah.
Like,
So
that's
that's
what
why
I said,
it's
yeah.
mildly honey, and it's we've been drinking it all episode, and I think it's delicious. So that's a little plug of them. We'll make a clip send it to them. But I want to thank you, Jacob, for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
We appreciate it. It was a great conversation. Be on the lookout for all of his stuff. Go check him out. Okay, Jacob Restituto.
Most
Go check out
definitely.
the New York Business Podcast, and we'll see you guys on. Well, we'll see you on the next episode here, but we'll also see you on
Yeah.
the New York Business Podcast.
And as I like to say, cheers, chin chin, and salute, my friends. Thank you.